Good morning, I'm John Cole Morgan and welcome to Sewing Street. Friday! I'm so excited, it's weekend and I've got 2 days off, can't wait. Right, nice and early with you this morning. You get to see our early bird before everybody else. This is a really fabulous early bird. We have got 10 spools of Gutermann thread, brand new to Sewing Street today. But not only are you getting these incredible threads, and I have to open this because it is so amazing. You know when you get a thread and you need to put a bobbin in it and you can't find the bobbin, or the bobbin runs away, or you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now you've got these incredible little adapters that you pop the bobbin in there, and then you pop your, obviously the bobbin on this one, I've taken off the 680. But then when you want to store them, they look like that. And each and every single one of these, you pop them in. So when you need a matching bobbin, all you do is you pop these wonderful little clips in the top of them to create your matching bobbins all the way along. Nice and safe and sound. And I want to just double check this. In fact, I'm going to do this very quickly because I think you can actually get more than one bobbin on here. You're getting 100 meters. You can. Okay, that one's not quite as secure if you're doing 2 bobbins, but you can, because you know what it is we all store these, having the one bobbin, and it doesn't come apart. You've actually physically got to pull them apart. So these are a fabulous little thing. I absolutely adore these. I think they're really great. But not only are you getting these wonderful little additions and clips, you are getting 10 100-meter Gutermann threads, and it's working out to less than £2 a spool then. And that's not including the little clips. But look at them, and there's such a gorgeous range of colours. Look at that. All amazing quality there. These are polyester thread. I prefer polyester personally because I think it's a lot stronger. But you can see when you pop these, what are we calling these? Little bobbin adapters. But I'm going to call them bobbin clips. But look at them, and I love the, and you can see they're really quite robust. So when you pop them in, it's really easy. You can just pop them there. Now for myself, I have this little OCD thing that I do, that with my bobbins, I need to have at least 10 bobbins lined up ready to go. Because you know, when you get into a project, you need to have them ready. But I put them in a little box or into a little spool, and they're always unwinding, and you've got them all over the place. These are genius, because a lot of the times you are using the same thread. And the great thing is these clips, they don't only fit Gutermann thread, they fit every single one of them. We've got another brand of thread here, which we can just see that you pop it in the top there, and the thread, it works perfectly in there as well. So it's not just specific to the Gutermann thread. These actually work in every single different type of spool that you can imagine. It's absolutely brilliant. But look at the colours. The colours are absolutely incredible there. You're paying less than £2 for a spool, but you're also getting these amazing little clips. And you have to admit, how many times have you lost the bobbin, or when you've wound the bobbin on and you've got this gorgeous orange there, but then you've got another orange and you've wound the bobbin, you put the bobbins to get in the same box and you can't remember which thread goes to which one? Now you don't have to worry. It just sits in that gorgeous little contraption. Love these. I think they're really great. But not only that, look at the colours. You've got your beautiful colours that you would normally use for your stitching. So if you usually use piecing and you're doing the lighter colours, then you've got these other wonderful colours then to go and do decorative stitching with it, because the Gutermann thread is so versatile. You can use these for embroidery, you can use them for piecing, you can use them for anything that you want to do, and it's just such a gorgeous thread. And look at the sheen on it as well. I think on this green one you can see that beautiful sheen there, very brightly, and it's just such gorgeous thread. I adore Gutermann. And these clips, are they just not genius? I think they're brilliant. Really great. Less than £2 a pole. £2 a pole. Excuse me, £2 a spool. So they're a really great deal. Congratulations if you've managed to get one already. That's why you watch us nice and early, because you're our early birds. But even if you're not going to use it yet, it also comes in this wonderful presentation box, which is really lovely. Loving that. Now later on today, we are very lucky. We've got Fiona with us from Sewgirl. Really looking forward to that. This is one of her dresses. Isn't that gorgeous? Yes. So anybody who buys something today from Sewgirl, ooh, if you buy a pattern or a kit, you're entered into a competition. And you're going to be able to win some carbon notebooks. Oh, that's really cool. So if you look on the Sewing Street page, is that the web page? On the Facebook page. If you check out our Facebook page, which is www.sewingstreet, no it's not, www.facebook.com/Sewing Street TV, you'll be able to see those gorgeous notebooks that are in our competition today. But it's also a great way for you to get in touch with us if you want to. Failing that, you can get hold of us on our Instagram, which is Sewing Street. So all the details of today's competition will also be available on Instagram, so check that out. And if you want to then catch up on any of the other shows, we've got the YouTube page, which have got every single show that we've ever done available for you to watch there as well, which would be really, it's a great resource going all the way back to Valentine's Day. Any products that you've purchased from ourselves that you want to then go and rewatch the demo, everything is available there for you on the YouTube the Sewing Street page on YouTube. Really, really great resource there. But if you want to email through to us as well, we've got studio@sewingstreet.com. So that's a nice way of, well, we love hearing from you. And if there are any questions about any product or you just want to say hello, we love hearing from you. So do drop us a line. It'd be lovely to hear from you. If you want to shop with us and you haven't shopped with us before, the best way of doing that is www.sewingstreet.com, and you've got all the products on there. You've got a little YouTube page which will be live for me now going hello, and then beneath that you've got all the products from today's shows and all the other shows available. You'll easily be able to find what you're looking for on there. It's a really amazing website. Don't be alarmed if you see Jewellery Maker at the top. They're our sister channel and very kindly are loaning us part of their website while ours is being built. If you don't use the website and don't use the internet and you prefer to call 0800 001 4433, our UK-based call centre just down the road here in Redditch. Anybody there will be able to help you with anything that you have to ask or any questions that you have. So that's a really great way of doing that. We've got a fabulous hour ahead of us now. Now, this is without question one of my most favourite books that I have ever used and worked with. It's called Gemology. Oh, I'm going to leave that there for 2 seconds because I always think it's quite nice to see one of the finished products from a book. So I made these the other day. Now, I absolutely love foundation paper piecing. Tell me that doesn't look the most gorgeous, gorgeous diamonds there. You kind of want to wear them as earrings, don't you? But imagine those as cushions or the outside of a bag. See, when I started making them, I thought, oh my goodness, I want to make that a bag, but have a pocket in the middle there with just my initials or something. They are such fun. And these are just one of the many templates that we used. I'll show you, I'm going to finishing this demo off today, but I used a black on this as my background fabric as well. So I'll finish that off later in the demo so you can see. So that's just one of the templates that we've got available today, and you'll see that that is the one that I made there, that round one. It is just the most fantastic book. It's £22.99, but the templates that you're getting and all of the different designs that you can do, absolutely stunning. They're all foundation paper pieced, so you can see there that beautiful, beautiful heart there, which is so lovely. Now, as a beginner for foundation paper piecing, you could do this. It's going to be, I would say you need to be an advanced beginner because it is, foundation paper piecing is literally just stitching straight lines. So I'll just flip back to one of the templates here. So the benefits of these is the accuracy, but with regards to the beginners, you can see all you're doing, this little piece here, you've only got 3 seams, one, two, three, you've only got 3 seams, so you're sewing between 1 and 2, you've got that line, and then between 2 and 3, you've got that line, and 4, so that is your first piece made. So I know people look at this and think, I could never do foundation paper piecing, but if you broke that down and you just said, you've got 4 pieces to make, the 4th piece only needs 3 seams, there's not a sewer out there who can't do 3 seams. Then if you look at number 2, you've got 6 pieces here, which means you've got 5 seams to do, your first one being there, your second one being there, your third one there, your 4th one there, and your 5th one along there. Now when I break it down like that, you're going, oh, actually I could do that. Then this one's only got 2 seams, and then this one's only got 1 seam. So if I told you that that's 1, 3, 4, 9, if I told you in 11 seams, you've done a quarter of the block. Automatically automatically that feels a lot more comfortable. And let me show you what I mean with that. Is on the back here, you'll be able to see exactly the same template that I've done. You can see over here you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seams, and that's what you're making, this little section here. So that's what it looks like. That's your 5 seams. And now when you look at it like that, you're just thinking, actually, that's not that difficult. The joy about foundation paper piecing is when you put them together, your points are so perfect, because when you're sewing, you've got all these lines that you're matching up to. And it's such an easy way of being able to do something really, really complicated, like these blocks. But they're so accurate and they're so perfectly put together. So for me, this has been one of the best books I've ever seen on foundation paper piecing. And the different projects that you can do this treasure chest, they've called it, where you can do one of every single design in the range, or you could do a whole series of hearts doing different sizes. It's just, oh, you could do one like that. It's just a really, really clever design and a really clever way of being able to use foundation paper piecing to make something absolutely beautiful. Really adore that. And the great thing with this is you need to go through and have a variation of colour. So you can see they go through the different backgrounds. It shows you something like that. And it also advises you what thread to be using. And I'm turning now to find the page I'm looking for, because the great thing is they tell you every single step of the way what you're doing and how to do it. It's really, really well written, this book. And when you come to a colour code, so in the colour code, they say to you, you need a light, a medium light, a medium dark, and a dark, and then your background. So you'll see we've got these amazing bundles here today. So if I flip this round, I think you'll agree when we pick this, that I can now shade these from dark. You've got your dark, your medium dark, your medium light, and your light. So this is what we wanted to make sure that we could do. So not only have we got the book, that we've got this fabulous set of bundles that go with it. And then we've got these in different colours. So I'll come back to the bundles in a little bit. I just want to show you the more amazing things in this book, because each and every, the phenomenal thing that they've done, which I've never seen before in a book, is they've gone through and suggested different colours that you could use. And they recommend the Kona cottons, and they give you the skew, the Bella Moda solids, the Modabella solids, they give you the skew. The Andover Alison Glass Kaleidoscope colorway, they give you the skew and the name of it. So what they've done is they've done the hard work for you, that if you wanted to make something in that green color there, you would then be able to go through and find the emerald teal and be able to order the exact colors that they've used on the front page for that green. Or if you want that teal or that blue or that pink, all of these are listed in here to tell you exactly which one you want. So the pink, you've got your different pinks there. So what we've done with our bundles that we'll show you in a few minutes is we've done pretty much the same thing, just gone and been able to pick the bundle out for you, because I think a lot of people struggle with regards to colour. So this purple one here I thought was really, really pretty. No disrespect, I just wanted to jazz it up a little bit by popping a bit more of a purple, a bit more of a magenta feel with these little spots on there. And for me, I thought that was a little bit dark. So you'll see I went for a richer plummy colour. And the great thing with this is it's a great way of actually just being able to play and to see what it is you can actually create with this. And then when the backgrounds come in as well, you can choose the different backgrounds, because when I made the white ones, I thought that was amazing. And then I showed Andrew, and he said, why don't you do one in a black? And I was like, oh my goodness, I want black fabric now. And made it with a black, and it just completely changes your design, doing it with a black or a white. And then of course we've got the dark grey as well, which works very, very well with that. So we've got many shapes in here. The first one is the round shape. So if you wanted to do the round, you then flick to the back in the template section, and it shows you the different templates that you need to make the round block. So you've got A, B, C, and D, and those 4 make your round template. So you've got many ways that you can do this. You can do this as this 100%, which is the size you've got here. You can decrease it to make it smaller. You can increase it to make it bigger, and then you can increase it again to make it even bigger. And they've given you what you need to do over here to get it. So if you want a 6-inch block, block, you're going to photocopy the templates at 50%, giving you a finished gem size of 4 inches without the border, and then you pop a border on there. So your actual gem in the middle over there is this measurement here, finished gem size without borders. So you can do a 4-inch, an 8-inch, a 12-inch, or a 16-inch, and then they're recommending borders according to the sizes over here. So it's a great way, they've taken the hard work out of this for you by able to work exactly how you want, what you need to do and how you need to do it. And then they also give you options of doing the top of the diamond, and then if you look at the bottom of the diamond, because most diamonds have got 2 sides, they show you how you can do the other side of the diamond as well, which I think is just so thoughtful, being able to do it. So we've got the round, then you've got the heart, and again the same way that they've done it, you've got the heart, you've got the trilliant, you've got the radiant, you've got the cushion. I absolutely adore that one. I think that is really pretty, and I have to say that's probably the next one I do. You've got the princess, which is just sublime. Then you've got the teardrop, you've got the marquis, you've got the oval, and then you come to putting into a project, and then you look at all the different ways that they've put these together, being able to just make a small little gemstone purse, making a small 6-inch block, and it shows you exactly how to actually do that. Then you can do a statement piece just with 5 different pieces there, and working the light, dark, you can use your dark, your medium, and your light to going through there. So imagine this is a nice little engagement gift for somebody, and maybe you do it in the months of their births, that you could put you know, whoever it is, the bride in the middle, and then the groom on either side, and children on the other side. It's a great way of being able to incorporate the whole family into a quilt, and then being able to do the treasure chest. And the great thing is you can do the same block, or you can variate it, and you could do different blocks within the design, and you can do them with different coloured backgrounds as well, and it just changes the quilt completely. Then you can do a family circle, which I loved this, that you could do the centre of the circle, which is usually the matriarch, and then all the different colours of the gemstones of the month of birth of all the people in the family. I thought that was just such a beautiful way of being able to use this book. And there are so many different designs and so many different possible gradient combinations that you can do in the book, and the book is incredibly easy to read. The templates are fantastic, and you've got each and every design from the oval to the circle. Really, really great way of doing it, and that is now the gemology book that we've got there. Now, to take the hard work out of this for you, what we've done is we've created some bundles to go with it. So we're going to start off with the blue, and you'll see that I've gradiated it here, going from the dark, medium, medium light to light. So these 5, you're getting ½ metre of each one. That is £16.99 today for the 2.5 metres. I'll show you what one fabric looks like size-wise, and all of the fabric I'm about to show you is all this size. Now, just to give you an example, you use so little fabric making each of these pieces, because with the blue, this is the one you use the most of because you've got the centre sections there, but you can actually see you use so few of these fabrics in there, but because they're so well coordinated colour-wise, they work very, very well for these projects. Now, if you don't like the idea of the projects, you're not into foundation paper piecing, this is a fantastic little stash builder, because especially when you've got the gradations of the colours, having a dark to a light blue in a shade works so beautifully, and you can just tell that just glows. It's so beautiful. So even if it's not a project that you'd be interested in doing, the colours on their own there, it's just fantastic. So whoever created those, well done. It's a really great way of doing it. We've also got the pink bundle here, again going from dark, medium, medium light, and light. Oh, sorry, there we go. Just beautiful colourways there. You can just see how gorgeous they are. Now, what I like to do while I've got that there is when you're looking for colours to go as a background, I think it works really well when you pop these at the back of each one to see which one you might prefer. Because I think as well, because we can't all go shopping at the minute, having the ability for me to be able to hold the fabrics up and show you, I think you can agree the pink with the black is absolutely sublime. It works really, really well. But it works very well with all of those colours. I've just realised I didn't do that with the blue, so let me just do that in case that's something people might want to see. So we've got the blue colourway there. If you wanted to do a black background, So the background fabrics will come back to in a little bit. But you can see that works so well with the white. And isn't it interesting how different colours work differently with the different backgrounds? And I have to say the dark grey looks quite good as well. So that I just think it's important for you to see the background colours with it when we show you these bundles, because unfortunately you can't get to the shop to go and see them. So I'm trying to do the work for you, because that's what I'd be looking at. Now we've got the, which one? Oh, so this one, when we had it on the previous show, this was the most popular colorway, and you can see why. Again, you've got your dark, your medium dark, your medium light, and your light. Just a gorgeous color combination there. 5 different fabrics, ½ meter of each, 2.5 meters of fabric there, and that's £16.99. And then with regards to the background fabric, that was our dark grey background. This was our white. And you see why I chose the white in my design, because it looked so, with my colourway, I thought the white looked so beautiful with that. But again, I think the black is really powerful as well. It just it just nestles beautifully into that. Whereas with the white, I think it just absolutely pops. So there are different colourways of doing this, different colour backgrounds that you've got available to you. We've got 3 available today for you. We've got the white one, which is by the ½ metre. It's £3.49 by the ½ metre. Is this white or ivory? It is white, yes. So this is the white colourway there. You can see it's just a beautiful, beautiful quality, really great colour on that. Then we've got also our dark grey. The dark grey is a really beautiful colour. This is the one that we really were struggling to get back into stock, because everybody just loved this dark grey. You can just see it's such a beautiful colourway there, really lovely. And then last but certainly not least, the most sought after fabric of late, which you can't get very many places, is the black, which I just think works so beautifully with these collections, these colourways. But don't forget as well, we've got loads of different colours on our website for the 100% cotton. If you've not searched for that before, type in 100 and cotton, and all the different colourways that we've got available in the cottons will pop up, so you'll be able to then see exactly what we've got. Maybe you've got a different colourway in mind, perhaps you want to do a yellow range or a yellow background or something like that, which would look brilliant. So let me show you how you're going to start when you do this project. The very first thing you're going to do, now this is unfortunately out of stock, but I always mention it because it is such a great product. Carol Doak, she does these foundation paper piecing pages that you just pop into your printer and you can print out the templates on there, and it's just got such a great feel to it. It's much kinder to your machine and to your needles because of the way the quality of the paper. It's just much, much better. So what I've done here is I've decided I'm going to do the heart block. So I've now gone into the, if I can find it, there we go. I've gone onto my template. So I've got my templates on my pages here. And what I love about this is that I take this then to the photocopier, and I first copied it onto normal copier paper, and you can see that's really shiny. So this has got the same quality as a normal piece of paper that you use for a normal copier paper. So you print out 4 of those, because I just like printing loads to make sure I've got enough. And there were 2 pages of these templates, so I printed that one as well, and that one. So I printed it on copier paper first, but then I also put it in with the Carol Doak paper, which I just think is gorgeous. And it is coming back in stock. It's on order, but you know what it's like. Unfortunately, deliveries are taking a little longer than we'd like. We will have it back. But you can see the Carol Doak isn't anywhere near as shiny, and it's a much nicer feel to the paper. So you're copying those out. I don't think you need to copy 4 of them. I can't remember how many you cut. The book will tell you exactly. I can't remember off the top of my head. So I printed all of those out, and then once I'd printed those all out, I then cut them out. I did 100% on it. So all you do then is, once you've got them out, and of course I put the book away now, instead of reading back onto my template. Where are my hearts? Boom, boom, boom. Right. So I need my A3 there. My A4 goes there. My B3 goes there. The book is really important to just have to hand when you're putting this together, because I think it's always important that you can see exactly how the block goes together. And then we've got the A2 there, and we've got the A1 there. And what I love about this, so obviously you've got your seam allowances, and I've cut these a bit bigger than I need to. So once you've sewn these pieces together, they get put together that way, they get put together, those two get put together, then those go onto there. These two, you do exactly the same. You stitch all of that together, stitch all of that together. You sew those bits together, do exactly the same over there, sew those together, and then you sew these two together. You've already sewn those. So that, I know that's a bit of a very random, brief description of you, but it's, I think we don't really show people how the templates go together. So that is a nice, quick way of being able to show you how that goes. Wow, okay, so I am hearing now, if you like this colour combination and you're liking our blue fabric bundle, stock warning, there are 3 left. If you are interested in getting it, please, there are only 3 of these left, so please make sure you pop that in your basket and get that checked out as soon as possible. I don't want you to miss out, and you can tell it works so beautifully in this combination. So please don't miss out on that, there are only 3 left. So once you've sewn your pieces together, I did do a demonstration on this a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if we can get that day. We're grabbing the date now. So what I did is I showed you how to make these pieces. So I took you from the point where I had my little loose pieces of paper to sewing them together there. But what I didn't do was to show you how you actually sew these bits together. Now this is where I do that dreaded thing, and I use 2 pins. No more, no less. So the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to make sure that you have got you've got a very sharp pin, and you can tell on this corner over here, thank you, Joe, you can see where you've got this dark line over here. This is your stitch line where you're going to actually be sewing. This is your dark stitch line here. So what I'm doing there is you can tell that that's the point I want to meet, that where these 2 dark lines meet. So I'm going to pop that through there, pop that through there, and we've got that ready over there. So I know that that's the point where my stitches need to come through. I'm just going to double check I've got these the right way around, and I do. Then what I'm going to do is from this side, I now have to put the pin through to make sure, oh, that was almost perfect. Almost. And it takes a little bit of time, but you will get there. So you can tell I've now got my pin into that exact point of where the 2 dark lines meet. No, I don't. Sorry. You kind of have to really get up close and personal with it if you want to make it work. There we go. So you can tell I've now got my pin right through the point where it's going to match. So now I hold my piece of paper like that and I get them completely straight. So you can see my pin, you might not be able to see, but my pin is now parallel with the floor or the mat. It's really important that you do that. So when I've got that parallel, I grab these 2 pieces like this and I turn it, and I hold it all nice and firm, and then I take my fingers and I hold this, rotating it around just because it's easier for doing it in the camera. Now I'm holding that nice and tight, so when I move my pin, the fabric's not moving at all. So all I do now is I push, and I get the pin through the piece of fabric. So I need to know that on this side, where my pin's coming through is on the exact same as this is coming through on this side, and it is. And I know that I'm sewing from there to there. Now, when I said I was using 2 pins, and that's unheard of, if you need to or want to, you do exactly the same thing over here. I'm going to risk it, because I'm not too worried if my points don't match. Now, I have not changed anything on here. I have got the exact same needle that I normally use. I have got my stitch length at 1.8. And as you get closer to the end, I've taken that pin out. Oh, that's worked brilliantly. The 680 is a dream going through all of this. It's excellent. So now when you've done that, I always check, yes, I've got through on both sides. They're absolutely fine. And then what you're going to do is you're going to then press your seams. Now, I press my seams open on this because you've got quite a lot of bulk in your fabric. So I make sure I try and get this as flat as I can. Oh, my steam is on here. Oh, I've got another stock warning for you. The pink bundle is down to only 4. So if that is in your basket, please make sure you check out. We don't want you losing out on that. So now you can see I've got my 2 halves ready to sew together. So doing exactly the same thing I've just done, all you'll do now, look how beautiful that is. Isn't that incredible? I absolutely adore this pink colourway. I'm so pleased it's selling so well. So all you would do now is exactly the same thing. You would pin these points together as you go through, and you would then finish your block accordingly and go from there. And then you'd be able to have one like that and one like that, just with a different colourway. So that is the wonderful combination there. This is working from the Gemology book that we had on earlier. The date that we did it on before was the 24th of June, wasn't it? That was it, wasn't it? 24th, perfect. So you said the pink one we were down to 4. So we've got this wonderful pink combination here going from dark all the way up to light. The pitter-patter of feet. I love this combination. So we're going from a dark pink, medium dark, medium light, light. Even if you're not using it for a project like this, it is a really great way of being able to just build your stash up. I think it's a fabulous way of doing that. And it's such a great price, 2.5 meters there, getting 1/2 meter of each one. You've also got the amethyst, we called it the amethyst collection, didn't we? Perfect. Look at this combination. It is so beautiful there. Love that. And don't forget as well, we've got our background colours, £3.49 for 1/2 metre on those. So you'll easily be able to check out those. Look how beautiful that is, going from dark to light. Really lovely ones, those. Perfect. It got very hot in here for a second, so I'm turning that on. So that is our wonderful combination there. And the one thing I didn't mention was our wonderful add-a-quarter rulers. These are absolutely essential to be able to do really good foundation paper piecing. They are absolutely brilliant. So what you do is you'll be doing, oh, I can show you. Bum, bum, bum. What you would be doing is when you're doing your foundation paper piecing, once you've got to an edge of a seam there, you would be able to then put your ruler right up to the edge of where you've sewn, and you would then trim it down. And the great thing with this is you don't have to look for what your 1/4 inch is. You would quite simply just then put the ruler up against it. If I rotate this around, you'll be able to see there, and you can see I just plop that there, and it gives you a really clear, accurate 1/4 inch, and then you would just trim everything off over there. It's a fantastic little set of rulers. You've got 2 of them here, the 12-inch one and the 6-inch one. I use both because I'd never used them before I came here, because I've just never thought about using them, and they are excellent. This 12-inch one I'd be doing for seams like that, when it's just slightly bigger than the 6-inch. And then the 6-inch ones, when you're doing these tiny little seams over here, you don't really want such a big cumbersome ruler in the way. So being able to have both is really handy to be able to get that as a nice clear seam to be able to then do that nice and comfortably. Brilliant. Now, if you'd like to drop us a message, we'd love to hear from you. This is the best way of being able to do that. We've got our studio email address. So do get your messages in. We'd love to hear from you. We really, really would. Now, the next thing I've got for you today, I am really excited because I absolutely adore this ruler. As many of you know, whenever I get a Creative Grids ruler and I can play with it for hours and hours and hours on end, I know I'm on to a winner. So today we're going to be looking at our Dresden Pleat ruler. This is an 18-degree ruler. It's 9 inches, so that'll be your blades will come out at 9 inches. So you're going to have your usual Dresden Pleat. Again, you've got the wonderful Creative Grips grips there, which are fantastic to stop your ruler moving on the fabric when you're working with it. Whereas if you've got a slippy side with none of the grips on, you would be moving around a lot more. So not only are you getting that, you're also getting this wonderful circle for you to be able to create different effects with your ruler. I'll show you an example of those in a little while. But with like all Creative Grids rulers, you're easily going to get this fantastic set of instructions of how best to use the ruler. And they explain absolutely every facet of the ruler, best ways of being able to do it, how to cut your fabric. It's a really, really important thing. Don't lose them. So that is the actual ruler that you're going to get. So I said to you I would show you how what the little curved ruler does. So over here, I've created this from our wonderful Tilda range, and over here you'll see that all of these have got little curved edges. You use this little ruler in order to get those curved edges, and I'll show you how to do that in a few minutes. But doesn't that look so effective? Our Tilda range has 20 different fabrics in it, so I encouraged the team for me to be able to use the wonderful Tilda range here. Because you need 20 different blades, this is a phenomenal way for you to be able to use the Tilda fabric, for example, because they've got 20 different fabrics. So that was one of the ones that we made, and you can see how huge the Dresdens are. So this is coming in at, oh, I've got the wrong way around on this. Oh, I've got my ruler here. All the rulers. So over here, that is a 19.5-inch Dresden. I haven't pressed it, it'll probably be a bit bigger, but that is what you're going to get. Isn't it just gorgeous? So that was the Tilda one, and the great thing is that's very impactful being able to do that. And it's great for memory quilts and things like that, or memories where you've got fabric that you really, really want to show off. Then we've also got these little ones. Isn't that adorable? And with these, what you're going to do is you're going to cut your blades out. But look how effective these. So I'm going to show you from the very beginning on how you actually do this. So I've cut out a 9-inch strip of fabric here, or I've cut several 9-inch pieces of fabric here. This is our wonderful Maui Batik range by Moda. Absolutely gorgeous. We've only got a couple of bundles left, so if you do like it, don't hang around. So all you're going to do is, I've cut a 9-inch strip from edge to edge, so all I'm doing now is I've lined my flat edge up over here, and I'm going to keep that nice and straight over there, and nice and straight over there, and I cut. That's the first thing. So now I'm just sliding that over for one reason only. I know that edge is perfect. And if I was at home, I would be using a different mat. But of course, there we go, perfect. Get that all nice, because you try not to move your fabric if you can. And you do that, and I'm now getting my nice clean edge. Now, I do know someone, so that's my blade that I'm going to be using. I do know someone who will take this and look at that and go, I can actually get, and they'd look at it and they can get, okay, I can get a 1 3/4-inch Dresden out of that. So you've got literally they would make a Dresden plate out of that, which I think is genius, but I'm not quite sure I have the time. So all you would do is literally just cut out your Dresden plates, blades, all the way along. And it is that simple of the way that you do them. And all I do when I've cut mine out is I put them pointing the opposite way. So, and it doesn't really matter for any way, it's just for me to be able to know how many stacks I'm getting. And you just keep cutting the width of your fabric. And you can see how simple it is to do. You literally just keep cutting. Now, I haven't got a full width of fabric here. It's just to show you how simple it is to actually use these blades to be able to cut your Dresdens. And all you do is you rotate this round each time. Because Dresdens are one of those blocks that everybody knows and recognises, but hasn't necessarily known how to cut it out, how complicated it is it something you want to look at doing? But you can tell I've cut out so many blades. Now I've got loads of fabric in here, and you can see I think I'm going to get one more, possibly two out. But the great thing with this ruler, because it's such a brilliant ruler to use, you can then you can cut out as many different cuts as you like, very safely. And you can see I've cut loads out there in one go. And the best thing for me is, now I've got that, and I know I'm not going to get a full Dresden by doing that. So all I do now, like I did the first time round, is I'm going to take that, I'm going to put my blade down, keeping this line up here, to the point where I can actually then say, nope, I'm not going to get a full Dresden. So I'm at 7.5 inches there. So I can now cut. Forgive my angle. We've all done it. Be safe. And there we go. So you've now cut a 7.5 inch Dresden there. But we're not done. I'm not done. Because this bit, there's a 2 inch Dresden right there. Oh. There's a 2.5 inch Dresden there, but there's not, because there's a little bit of fabric moving over there. So I'm going to cut another 1.5 inch Dresden here to go with my little friend over there. So the great thing is not only is this Dresden template so easy to use, but it also then minimizes your waste profoundly, because you are literally able to use as much of the fabric as you can to be able to make sure you're not wasting fabric. Because I don't know about you, but my Tilda, I want to use every single scrap of it. So that is what I've got left. Just that's my scrap. Now, to be fair, I think that's a fantastic use of fabric. And let me just show you how many you're going to get out of this. So I was cutting a lot of these different fabrics in one go. So I'm just going to lay these out and keep going around in a spiral and see how I go. Now, this I think is also a really good way to show how exceptionally beautiful these batiks are. And because they're all so different, but yet so similar, because you can see the pink that they've used here is used in the corner there, used in that one. It's just a very cleverly thought out fabric range. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So I would be able to, using 2 of these stacks, you can see as I do this, you can then create your Dresden, a full Dresden, and it's a big Dresden, because obviously you've got your seam allowances to come out of it. Oh, I'm getting too close to the camera there, sorry about that. But I had my lockdown haircut, so it's better than normal. So you can see that is what your Dresden will look like colour-wise, and that's using 2 stacks. So in our 1/2 metre cuts, all I did was cut a 9 inch piece. Those were 2 stacks, and I've got a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th, a 6th, and a 7th. So I'll easily be able to get another 3 circles exactly like that. Now the size that you would end up with is this big once you've got your seam allowances in. So you can tell that is a really, really big Dresden plate, and you can just tell how beautiful that is. Now what I've done is you can tell that each one of these is opposite. So if you don't want to keep it in that order, you can then change it. And if you only wanted to do half, all you would do is you would have half a Dresden. So you can ignore this bit and just have that as the bottom half, as sort of a sunrise on the bottom of your quilt. If you wanted to make a floor cushion, you could easily then just be able to put these all together as a floor cushion. If you want to change these into circles, all you would do is, let me show you on this one how you would make a circle. I'll show you on the blue. I think the blue shows up a little better. So if you're wanting to make a circle, all you do is you fold that over, put your little ruler on the side there, and you trim round the edge to get your hexie. If you wanted to make a point, like I've got in these ones, you would do exactly the same. You would fold this in half, you would then stitch a 1/4 inch seam down the edge here. Oh, where's my foot? You would cut your 1/4 inch seam down there. You use your lovely little snips to take the little edge off there. Oh. Always get the bigger ones. And just turn them round. Now my little pointer's gone for a walkabout. So that's how you would then create your little fan. So you could do your fan doing that. Otherwise, you just leave them raw and put them all the way around with raw edges. But it's a fantastic ruler, really, really great. Nice way of being able to use all of your different fabrics as you go. I've got the ruler here somewhere. There it is. So, you know, when you put something somewhere. So this is the blade. This is the blade that you're going to get. Shall I pop it on a purple fabric so we can see it? I'm going to do that. The fabric is not included. This is the blade that you're getting. It just shows up much better on the purple fabric. That's the blade. That's the circle that you're going to get. And then don't forget your wonderful set of instructions. The 3 of those available for £20.99. And as I've shown you in that demo, you are limited only by the amount of fabric that you use. And there's a little bit of stash out there to be able to do. Now the very next one we've got to do is the hexagonal trim tool. This is one of the most fabulous rulers I have ever used with Creative Grids. I'm going to pop that back on my little purple fabric so you can see it. It is one of the most fantastic rulers for 2 reasons. It is so easy to use, and with these instructions you'll be able to see all the different blocks that you can make, and it is so effective being able to do see the different blocks. You can see how incredibly effective that one is. But then if you don't want to do such a small piece, you can then do a larger one in the middle. So in the solids it works incredibly well, but equally in the Liberty fabrics, do check the website, we do still have some of those. You can see how effective it looks just by switching whether we're using that pale or the darker colour in the corners or on the sides. You can see just at the different effect that you get. It's just such a beautifully easy ruler to use. I've done a few demos on that as well, so you can go and check that on the website on YouTube. But it is just such a fantastic ruler, the hexagon trim tool ruler there. And that is available for £24.99 today. Do check that out. The next ruler we've got available today for you is our fabulous kaleidoscope ruler. Now this one I absolutely loved using, and it looks a little bit like mountains. You've got this wonderful little ruler there. You can see I'm just going to turn that way, and you can see obviously the purple fabric's not included. We can then just make sure we show it. But what's really great, it does look like little mountains, doesn't it? And there are so many different effects that you can do to make. Oh, and don't forget you've got your instructions. The instructions, I keep forgetting to mention the instructions, but make sure you keep those safe. But the great thing with these is you can see just how effective these rulers are in being able to make them, and it's so easy to use. What you've got is you'll have your blades, and once you've cut your blades out, you then just put them into groups. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. I knew I had them in order. And then you just put them into groups to be able to build your little block as you go around. And it is just incredibly effective as a finished product. Can't use my finger now, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Is it 3 or 4? There we go. It is 4. Sorry. I was losing my mind for a minute then. So you can see just how effective it is. So that's just using 2 fabrics. I've done others as well. You know, this is a great thing with this ruler. It absolutely is brilliant. You can play with it and you can make different you can do different strip sets like that. And as long as your strip set measures the gap between that line there and there, which I think, as I recall, is 4.5 inches, you will then be able to cut out the most incredible different designs on this. It's a fabulous ruler. Really, really easy to use. That's the Kaleidoscope 45-degree triangle ruler, and it's a great way of doing a mini stack and whack for little tiny strips. Love that. So that's your 45-degree Kaleidoscope triangle ruler there. 6 inch or 8. We're next going to look at our wonderful Scrap Crazy blocks. This is our 6 inch Scrap Crazy. Now, I absolutely loved working with this ruler. Give me 10 seconds to put this in the order it needs to be. There we go. It's so easy to put together. It's such an easy block to use. And when I did it, I made so many of these blocks. You can see I could just cut out and cut out and cut out. So what I'll show you here is your different fabric pieces as they go. I'll just put a little piece of fabric onto each one so you can see how they go together. Trying to make sure I haven't got the same fabric as what's beneath it. Where are my triangles? There we are. And you can just tell how different it looks with how you change all the different rulers and how you change the different blocks. And it is such a lovely, lovely ruler to play with, to be able to use up your scraps, because literally as long as you can get a different section out of each one of these, you can tell the block changes completely as you go along, just adding these different colorways into your combination. It's just such a great ruler to be able to use. Loved using this, and each of your blocks come out at 6.5 inches unfinished, and then once you start putting them all together, that's obviously 6 inches, and you can just see that the different color combinations work so perfectly together. I'm just going to take that one out, and you can see I've then matched all the colors here with that corner color. So if I don't want to use that, I can just do solids there. So it's a great, great ruler to be able to do different fabrics with, do different choices, and give it a nice, good way of doing it. Lovely ruler. And again, you've got those wonderful set of instructions. Make sure you don't lose those. Then we've got our Scrap Crazy 8-inch ruler as well. So again, we've got the wonderful set of instructions there. We've got now this is a totally different block. Don't think they're the same, because they are totally, totally different. The 6-inch block, you can see you've just got a block like that, but the 8-inch one, they've made it much, much more interesting, and your blocks end up looking like this. And when you put a few of them together, they start looking like that. And this one is really, really easy to use as well, because what you're doing is you've got that one over there. Then you've got that one. Helps if I get the right color. That's that one over there. You can tell I went a little bit mad and made loads of them. And then that one is that one over there. Oh, that's what it is. So these two are the same piece. So that's why I had 2 different sections there. And then you've got that there. So these are the way you'd make the block. So you would sew those 2 together first. Let me move that up, sorry. Those 2 together first, and then you'd add that onto the bottom of it. Not liking that color combination, so I'll put that there with a little bit of variation. And then on this side, you just simply sew these 2 together, and then those join onto there to be able to make the block. And the great thing is you can rotate these as you like. They've got a couple of design options for you, and they've got different ways of cutting it as well. It's a fabulous, fabulous ruler, being able to use up your scraps as well. And that is the 8-inch Scrap Crazy. Perfect. So after the break, we are going to have the fabulous Fiona. I've forgotten the name. Sewgirl. Isn't that a fabulous name for a business? I love that. So Fiona's going to be with us after the break, and she's going to be doing this dress. Doesn't that look amazing? Absolutely gorgeous. Looking forward to that. Now remember, if you're buying anything from us today, you've got whether you're buying a pattern or a kit, you're going to be entered into a competition. Check out the Sewing Street TV page and our Instagram page for details of that. And we'll be back in a few minutes. See you in a minute.
Hi there, my name's Alison Marion and I'm thrilled to be joining the Sewing Street family. I live in Staffordshire, where I run a couple of sewing groups, and I have a passion for vintage sewing machines and also applique. I've stitched in some form for as long as I can remember, but I absolutely love teaching and helping people stretch their skills and hopefully demystifying some of the techniques that can be quite daunting for beginners. So I'm looking forward to meeting the team and getting into the studio. See you soon.
Hello there, I'm Debbie Shaw, and I would love you to join me on the first Monday of every single month for Sewing Street Surgery. Now, this is a dedicated hour where I answer your questions, and that could be questions about techniques, it could be questions about tools, it could be questions about new products, or maybe something that you've seen that you just don't understand. There's a lot of questions about tensions on sewing machines, and there's a lot of questions about working with different weights of fabrics. So if you have a question that you'd like to ask me, the easiest way to bring a question over to us is to go to our Facebook page and post your question on there. I will collate all of those questions throughout the week. If we need any new products for you, or if we need any new demonstrations, those will all be worked on leading up to that first Monday of the month. So do join me, Debbie Shaw, on Sewing Street Surgery on the first Monday.
If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page.
Hello, I'm Kerry from Living in Loveliness, and I'm delighted to be part of the Sewing Street team. I'm based in Wolverhampton, and I absolutely love working with fabulous fabrics. In particular, I love working with fat quarters and showing you how to get the most from your scraps. I love bringing communities of sewists together and encouraging people to sew for greater causes. Most recently, we have been sewing for our NHS and key workers. I look forward to bringing you hints, tips and techniques. I'll see you soon.
Would you like to take part in our weekly competition? If you do, then all you have to do is head to the Sewing Street fan page group on Facebook. Post your picture of your make. Myself, Debbie Shaw and John Cole Morgan love looking at all of your makes every week. We pick our favourite and announce the winner every Friday live on the show. Happy sewing and good luck.
To see me back. My favourite piece of kit with the sewing is the seam ripper. Hello, I'm Janice from Birmingham. I specialise in dressmaking. I used to run a children's shop and I love making children's clothes. My mother encouraged me to sew from an early age. When we were young, we did dressmaking in school. My claim to fame was the sewing quarter. But I'm now making also jumpsuits for ladies and men of all shapes and sizes, and it seems to be going for the festivals around the country. See you on the show!
Shopping with us couldn't be easier. If you want to shop online, then you can head to our website, www.sewingstreet.com. It will redirect you to our sister channel Jewellery Makers landing page. Don't worry, you haven't gone to the wrong place. We're simply using their website temporarily while we're building our own web shop. Scroll down past the Watch Live part and you'll see all of the products that you will have seen on air on today's live show. You can also shop our catalogue by clicking a category, clicking a product to view closer and adding it to your basket. Once you're ready to check out, you will need to create an account, which is absolutely free to do so, but it will mean that you can check out on as many orders as you want throughout the day with still only paying one postage and packaging. If you'd prefer to speak to somebody in our UK-based customer service team, then you can do so via the free telephone line number 0800 001 4433. They will not only help you create an account, but will also help you with any of your online shopping.
Hello, I'm Kerry from Living in Loveliness and I'm delighted to be part of the Sewing Street team. I'm based in Wolverhampton and I absolutely love working with fabulous fabrics. In particular, I love working with fat quarters and showing you how to get the most from your scraps. I love bringing communities of sewists together and encouraging people to sew for greater causes. Most recently, we have been sewing for our NHS and key workers. I look forward to bringing you hints, tips and techniques. I'll see you soon.
Would you like to take part in our weekly competition? If you do, then all you have to do is head to the Sewing Street fan page group on Facebook. Post your picture of your make. Myself, Debbie Shaw and John Cole Morgan love looking at all of your makes every week. We pick our favourite and announce the winner every Friday live on the show. Happy sewing and good luck.
Hello, my name's Fiona Hesford and I'm founder of Sewgirl. I'm based down in Worthing on the south coast of England, and I've got a range of sewing patterns which I've developed over the last few years, which are projects for loose fitting clothing, everyday simple garments, things that I really love to wear myself, and I'm going to be bringing you them to Sewing Street over the next few months. So I look forward to seeing you then. Bye!
And it is so lovely to have you back this morning. We've got the fabulous Fiona from Sewgirl presenting her Betty dress today from sizes 8 to 22. Brand new to Sewing Street today, exclusive to us. Isn't the most fantastic, fantastic little dress here? Absolutely beautiful. And we've got Fiona here who's going to be able to show us how this is all working and how it goes. So this is brand new today to Sewing Street. Amazing quality. I can't wait to be able to show you this, how this all works. Now remember, anything that you buy today, you're going to be entered into that competition, and the details of that are on Instagram and on our Facebook page. So it's nice. I love a competition. A little bit of extra something is fantastic. So really looking forward to that. So without much ado, we're going to now get Fiona on back in. Oh, we've also got fabric bundles as well. Sorry, I'm just jumping ahead. I'm too excited to get this demo started. So we've got these loads of fabulous fabrics. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. Perfect. So which one do you want to go first? I love this. Look at this fabric bundle here. Absolutely beautiful. I'm going to unfold this. I will never get it back to the way it was, but look how beautiful that is. Is that not just the most gorgeous design? Love that. So this is 3 meters of fabric here, £47.49. What's the width on this? Do we know? Oh, hang on. I've got the bend because I'm a bit nervous about unfolding the whole lot. That's how wide it is. This is selvage to selvage. 150 wide. Gorgeous. Look how beautiful that is. Absolutely stunning. And you can see there's a lovely variation in the pattern there as well. Really, really great. Love that. This is the largest size of the pattern. Enough for the larger side of the pattern. Love that fabric, isn't that gorgeous? We've also got this fabric by the 1/2 metre as well. So you can see we've got a 1/2 metre piece here for you too. Would have made sense for me to show you the width on the 1/2 metre. So this is what the 1/2 metre looks like. The bundle I showed you previously was for 3 metres. This is £7.99 for a 1/2 metre, and that's in the width of the fabric again. That's by the 1/2 metre there. Really gorgeous design, lovely, lovely pattern that. I wish that was quilting cotton. I'd have that at the back of all my quilts. That's beautiful. But now we've also got our washed 100% linen in this beautiful pink. That's what you've, no, almost the same as that one. I thought that was the same. The colour is beautiful, but the texture on this is just so luxurious. It feels beautiful. 100% linen, 3 metres for £35.49 today. Really beautiful. I can't stop touching it. It's so luxurious. Love that. So this will also make the largest size in the pattern, and the pattern goes up to size 22. We've also got that by the 1/2 metre as well. Really, really beautiful. Let me show you what this is, the width on that is, because obviously the width on this and the 3 metres will be the same. This one is our washed linen for £5.99. Really, really stunning. Gorgeous colour as well. It's just that perfect, perfect pink. Because some of them can be a little bit insipid. This one's just beautiful. But now, I don't know, this is absolutely lovely. This is the denim, 100% washed, 100% stone washed linen. Gorgeous feel to it. This is 3 metres of this as well, and that's coming in at £35.49. Really, really beautiful there. And you can just imagine this dress being in that fabric. It's absolutely gorgeous. Really love that. But we've also got this one, not only as a 3 metre bundle, but also by the 1/2 metre. So let me show you the 1/2 metre on that as well, and this will show you the width of the fabric in the bundle too. It's just easier to fold 1/2 metre than 3. So you can see that is what is really beautiful as well. So if you wanted to make additional bags and things as well, it's nice that we can bring that to you by the 1/2 metre for an additional. And today, again, to remind you, we've got our brand new pattern here today from Fiona from Sewgirl, exclusive to Sewing Street today, brand new. And just look how beautiful it is. Really, really stunning. Now we've got a little clip of Fiona wearing the dress as well. Have a look at this. So it's just the most beautiful dress, and look how fabulous she looks, and just so confident. You can tell she's just loving that dress. Looks fabulous. So we're going to be with Fiona in just a few minutes. We've got to just move things around, social distance, and get that all sorted. So we're just going to be able to remind you how it is best to buy with us. We'll be back in a minute.
Shopping with us couldn't be easier. If you want to shop online, then you can head to our website, www.sewingstreet.com. It will redirect you to our sister channel Jewellery Makers landing page. Don't worry, you haven't gone to the wrong place. We're simply using their website temporarily while we're building our own web shop. Scroll down past the Watch Live part and you'll see all of the products that you will have seen on air on today's live show. You can also shop our catalogue by clicking a category, clicking a product to view closer, and adding it to your basket. Once you're ready to check out, you will need to create an account, which is absolutely free to do so, but it will mean that you can check out on as many orders as you want throughout the day with still only paying 1 postage and packaging. If you'd prefer to speak to somebody in our UK-based customer service team, then you can do so via the free telephone line number 0800 001 4433. They will not only help you create an account, but will also help you with any of your online shopping.
Welcome back, and we've got the fabulous Fiona in her gorgeous dress over here. Welcome, it's lovely to have you.
Hello, John.
Tell me a bit more about you.
Okay, so my name's Fiona, and I live in sunny Worthing.
Nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you too. Yes,
Sorry,
lovely
my
to
chair,
be
having a bit
here.
of a chair malfunction there, apologies.
You're right.
I was sitting and the whole thing just dropped, sorry about that.
I have to pick you up off the floor.
That's what I was worried about. So tell me a bit more. You come from Worthing.
I come from Worthing, that's
Yes.
right. And but I used to live in Brighton, and I've worked in Paris in the fashion business. So I've sort of
fabulous.
been all over really. But now I live in Worthing with my husband. My kids are grown up now, so I work in my garden studio at home, and you know, I have a lovely time down there designing sewing patterns, working for magazines. I write projects and
Wonderful.
do TV and
That's brilliant. So is that
all
how
sorts of
you
things like
started
that.
Sewgirl then, doing that from all your experience in Paris and working on the
Yes,
fashion
well,
industry?
I've always had a love of fashion and clothing because I did, you know, sort of do fashion at uni. So, and then I've just literally worked ever since I left university many years ago, but I won't say how many. And so I was actually a knitwear designer for quite a few years, but then I sort of, I fell in love with fabric about 10 or 12 years ago. And I never looked back really. And then right from the word go, I just wanted to design projects, and you know, I was doing it before I even knew how to sew really.
Oh, fantastic.
Because I think I've always designed, so you know, it was really natural to me to sort of like feed it in. And I started writing projects for books and a few magazines, and I did a few for a publisher in America. And then it just all went from there really. And then I've only just launched my own range of sewing patterns in the
And that's under
last 12 to
Sewgirl?
18 months or so.
Is that a Sewgirl?
Well, I've always been Sewgirl. Sewgirl was actually, it was a doll. My husband's a screen printer,
Right.
a fine art screen printer. So we screen printed a doll because I quite fancied the idea of doing a doll that could wear lots of clothes. And we called her Sewgirl. And then after that, people just kept calling me Sewgirl.
Oh, how wonderful.
Although
What
I
a
keep saying
lovely
I'm
way.
so old lady rather than Sewgirl.
Oh, that's wonderful.
But so it sort of stuck really. I mean, it sounds
But it's a
little
lovely
bit,
name.
Well, it sounds a little bit like a superhero, but
It
I've never really
does.
seen it like that at all.
So tell me a bit more about the Betty dress. You're wearing it
Yes,
today. I'm
I
guessing that's
am.
another one of it there.
Yes, yes.
It looks so different with the different buttons and the accessorising. You've got that gorgeous
Yes,
belt on.
I've got it
and then
with a
doing
belt
the
on
coordinating
here.
belt. They
This-
work so beautifully.
That's right. So you can have it with either a tie belt or your own belt, and you can put sort of little tabs on if you want to have a belt, so that you can sort of chop and change.
And the pattern will tell you how you would do all of that.
Yes, well, what happens with my patterns is that as well as having the instructions that you get in the book, which is all illustrated and photographed, you also got a blog post, and on the blog post I put lots of hack ideas,
Fantastic.
and if I've made it up in a different type of fabric, I'll put the photos on there, and I maybe sort of like give you some hints of types of fabric to use and that sort of thing.
But that's what a wonderful
So,
idea, because I think
yeah.
as well, you evolve a pattern and then you come up with a different hack. I think that's genius that you can put that
Well, 'cause a lot
together.
of people just want to get a little bit of longevity out of the pattern, and they want to kind of maybe make it long sleeves. There's no reason why you shouldn't add a longer sleeve on this. And I sort of put all the information about how you do it on the pattern, so on the blog.
On the blog, but the blog
Yes.
details are all on here.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
people are clearly loving it because more than a
Yes.
quarter of the stock has already gone on your pattern. So congratulations!
That's
But you can tell why
fantastic.
it's such a beautiful dress.
Right,
So
yeah.
I'm just going to show everybody what
Yeah.
you're getting in the pattern.
Okay.
So I've just opened the pattern now, and you can just see you've got this gorgeous set of instructions. Look, it's you!
I know.
Oh, that's
On the beach,
gorgeous!
because I live in sunny Worthing on the
Oh,
beach.
I
and-
love that. You've actually put a bit of detail about you on there as
Yes, and
well.
there's all the
And then is
information
that
about
all
the blog.
that's the blog
That's
you're
the blog
talking
details,
about?
yes,
Oh, I
yes.
love that.
Yeah, so you know, I base my clothes patterns around my lifestyle, which is very sort of, you know, we go for breakfast on the beach and, you know,
Oh, how
sling something on.
wonderful.
So I design clothes for my, you know, easygoing
Everyday life.
lifestyle. You know, they're everyday clothes. They're not sort of clothes for special occasions or anything like that.
Oh,
I
I
never
don't
see them like
know.
that. But they're just
I'm looking at your dress. You
comfortable.
look beautiful. I would wear that at a special occasion. You look fabulous.
Well, thanks, Dawn.
No, but I think as well. But that's what's so interesting. It's a comfortable pattern.
Yes.
Something that's very wearable. You can
Yes.
adjust with just the type of fabric you could do.
That's right. Yes, definitely.
I think that's
And I'm really
brilliant.
into that. Really into sort of getting a different look about, you know, with using a different fabric. Absolutely.
But that's the great thing about getting such a
Yes.
classic pattern like this. Is that
Yes, yes.
And again, with your hacks as well, and the way that you evolve it as you
Yeah.
go along.
Yeah.
I guess people could message in to you as well and tell you how they've made different outfits.
They always do.
Fantastic. Oh, that's
Even
wonderful.
Sunday night, you know, about sort of midnight, and
That's
I'm like
lovely.
writing little messages, but I love that contact with my customer. You know, they sort of send me photos, they write feedback, and you know, I think that's fantastic.
By doing that,
they
they're
get a
buying
real
into a
personal
lifestyle.
service with me. I mean, I handheld someone through a pattern the other day because she sort of was she was a complete beginner, and so we were sort of like Saturday night, we were kind of chatting our way through the pattern. Have you done that yet? Yes, you know. And
lovely.
so it was just really nice. You
But
know,
the great thing with that
I've
is,
done it.
but for her, that completely changed her life in many ways, because now she has the confidence to do it again.
I think that's the absolute thing that I love the best about it, is that people, it does make people so much more confident, you know, when they've achieved something. And, you know, because I like to keep my patterns quite simple, and I like to keep them so that there's, you know, they're a little bit loose fitting. So you know, if it's a little bit smaller, then there's room for sort of error there. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I just sort of feel like, you know, people need to have, you know, not to be too difficult when they're starting. And I want it to be a pattern that they make again and again.
Of course.
You know, so, you know, that's what I want. So if it's easy and quick to make, because I don't have a lot of time to dress-make, so I want something that I can cut out one evening and literally sew it up the next. That's my idea, really. So
that's brilliant. So the one you're wearing now, that took what, 2 evenings?
Yes, I could run this up. It's actually
brilliant.
because it's got no darts, it's got no sit-in sleeves. It's literally a top and a bottom and a facing. So it's very, very easy, you know.
Brilliant.
So, you know, I'm just showing
Now,
you
I've
later
never
how
made
it
dresses
is.
before, and I'm looking at this
really?
layout. Obviously, you can
come to
imagine
me.
why.
I'll show you how.
But you can see, but I don't think I need to, because I'm looking at your diagrams here, and that you're making it
that's the
so
lay plans.
easy.
That's right. That shows you how to lay out the fabric on, for your fabric width. So obviously, if you've got a wider width fabric, you'll need to lay it out slightly differently. So that shows you that. And then on the narrow width, you've got a slightly different layout. So it just shows you that. And then each step of the way, and all the photographs are on the blog. So if you want to see it on your laptop or your computer or even your phone, you know, you can find all those photographs and all the hacks on the blog, and they'll sort of be there to kind of
Brilliant.
use.
And for people who don't use the internet, obviously they've got everything they need here ready to go.
And it's really nice because the blog is much more chatty. You know, it's a bit more sort of like, you know, there's a bit
more interactive.
There's a few sort of like cheesy jokes in there and things like that. Just help
And
me
I
on
love
your
the
way.
fact that you've got your size information on the back here as well.
That's right. So it's a little bit smaller on the packet. So I've blown it up for inside. So if you're a bit, you know, like me, you sort of eyesight's not so good, you know, pop inside and it's all much bigger on the back. So
Brilliant.
we've got more space here. So.
And on our website as well, the second image on the code that we've got there at the moment, the TIS 587, so that's Tango Indigo Sierra 587. The second image along, we've actually been able to put that down on there for you. So whatever your sizes were, you can then know exactly how much fabric you can get. Sorry? Oh. Yes. So that's the great thing about it, is your patterns go from size 8 up to size 22, which I think is great. It's very inclusive. I think that's really important.
I mean, to be honest, I would try and get more on if I could fit it in with the lay plans. But, you know, and I'd love to eventually go right up to 28. But we're sort of working our way through old patterns and resizing them. And on the second part of the show, I'm actually bringing Hilda back, but in the extra sizes, in the size up. So I'm sort of trying to be a bit more size inclusive with my patterns.
But I think that's great with your interaction with customers as well, with your website and your blogs and interaction there. You'll be able to get feedback. So if people are wanting them, it's great that you've got that feedback direct from them to be able to then develop and change your patterns as you go along. It's only going to help everybody.
Yes, that's right.
That's brilliant. So you've got two parts of the pattern here.
Yes, so they're on large formats and they're very sturdy paper.
They
so
are.
what I would recommend is to get some pattern weights. If you haven't got any pattern weights, you could always use like tins of tuna or beans or something and just weigh them down. So once you cut them out, although I do recommend to trace them off first.
Yes.
Because then you've kept your pattern intact, you can loan it out to people, but you know, you might change size. So it's always a good idea to trace them off onto dressmaking, tracing paper. But if you just want to cut your pattern out, that's fine.
This is huge.
Well, it's
I
an
love
A0.
it.
Yes, well, it's
So I know it's upside down, but just to give you an idea of the scale of the pattern there.
Yeah, so you've got
and
two
if
of
I'd done this for the
those.
right way round.
Yeah, so you've got a lot for your, I mean, you know, that the price that it's at is actually very reasonable.
Oh, that's very reasonable. I'll get that the right way round. So that is, oh, there we go. That's half the pattern there.
Yeah.
It's huge. But it's got all the details on it that you need as well. Now, how am I going to fold this back up?
Right. You're not.
I thought folding fabric was difficult. Don't unwrap the patterns.
Yeah, we've got all the pattern pieces that I've cut out here.
Oh,
you can
brilliant.
see them here. That when they're cut out, they're quite manageable, really.
I
So
won't
you've got-
be defeated. I could learn to fold a ½ metre of fabric. You know what? This is making too much noise. Forgive me. Just
the other
popping
thing
that
I want
down
to say
there.
about the pattern pieces
Yes.
is that you know, because they're come creased, because they've been folded in the pack, you know, perfectly, because they're nice sturdy paper. If you just take your steam off your iron, turn the settings down,
How
you can
fabulous.
iron them, and they're not like tissue where they tear really easily. They're actually really, really sturdy. So I would
Brilliant.
sort of give them an iron, and then you're ready to go. And if your fabric is a little bit slippy, I would definitely put if you've got a sheet or a duvet cover, put that on your table, lay your fabric on, and sometimes I even iron it on the table that I'm going to cut out.
Oh, what a
I mean, if
clever
you've got the
idea.
fabric underneath, you can be, you know, secure in the fact that it's not going to damage your table. But it also, especially for sort of fabric like the this is like a crepe, isn't it?
It's beautiful.
Really beautiful to work with.
But the design is so stunning.
It's kind of like a little bit like chinoiserie, I think. You know, like a sort of slightly Japanese sort of kimono type thing. So I really love this fabric. And but basically, it's got a bit of movement to it. So I would definitely put a duvet cover down and lay your pattern pieces out. Even iron them in situ. I think that's a good tip, really.
Perfect.
If you don't want to do that, obviously, you know, sort of iron it, but have the you know, the sheet underneath just to stop it slipping.
Perfect. What a good
So,
tip.
and then, you know, put your pattern weights on, and then when you're happy with all the layouts, you can just pin it and then cut it out. So, you know,
Fabulous.
that's absolutely fine.
And
You
I
want
love
me
the
to-
effect that you've got, because that dress you're wearing now has got a really fabulous pattern on it. And these are slightly, I want to call it subdued patterns,
Well,
but they're
yes,
so beautiful.
yes.
They're really elegant the way that you've done it.
Yes, it's very understated, isn't
Very.
it?
And I'm looking at the blue as well, and that's
Yes,
just
well, the
a
blue
lovely...
is very similar to your denim, so I brought this one in. And if you find, you know, if you look at that and you think, buttonholes, I really don't like doing buttonholes. You know, these ones, I haven't done the buttonholes, I've just sewn the buttons on. I mean, this one I've done the buttonholes there. But this one, what I've done is just sewn them on, because I wanted to live with it and just make sure that they were in the right, you know, they felt comfortable and they didn't need moving. And, you know, that's, and actually, you know, do you really need buttonholes? You know, because you can just pop it over your head, you know. But it's
What
good.
a clever trick there.
Yeah, so this one is the pattern hack, and if I sort of go like that, you can see that actually what I've done is I've done the I should look at the camera rather than the screen. Is I've got some.
I do that all the time.
You're sort of looking at yourself rather than.
It's very disconcerting, isn't it?
It really is. So I've got 3 rather lovely vintage buttons
They're
here.
beautiful.
But what I've done is I've cut 2 backs instead of the front. So actually the buttons, if you see this, do not go all the way down here. They stop here.
Oh, that's
so and it's
clever.
just plain here and just the buttons at the top. So even quicker.
That is very
So,
clever.
I mean, and I didn't think about that when I designed the pattern, and then afterwards I sort of thought, oh, actually, I think I prefer it. So I've popped all that on the blog, and all the, you know, it's just very easy. You just cut 2 backs instead of the front and the back.
So there's a lot coming with the pattern, and the thing is, because you're doing the blog all the
Yeah.
time, you're always updating it, and
Absolutely.
the blog
It's
details
my
are on the
yeah.
information here. Oh, more than half your stock has gone on the patterns today. It's going really well. So shall we start on with your demo?
Yes, and let me just point this out as well on the pattern.
course.
You've got a nice little sort of detail. I don't know if you can see that.
Yep, if you leave it on the thing.
Yes.
There we go.
So can you see on the side seam there, it's got like a little curve. So it's a nice little detail at the side of the hem.
Perfect. Oh, that's very
Yeah,
pretty.
so you know, that's a nice little feature. And the other thing is, it's quite long in the body. So I would suggest if you really wanted to be safe, is to make up the bodice. It doesn't, you know, in a bit of calico or old sheet or something, and just to make sure that the length, or even just measure the pattern and see where you would like your waistline to lie. So you know, everybody's slightly different. You might want to have it shorter, and I actually shortened it for me. And if you're going to shorten the pattern, just do it from the waist. So just literally fold over the pattern at the waistline.
Above the waistline.
Yeah, so don't shorten it at the bottom of the hem, because you've got this little
That beautiful curve.
the curve here. You just literally fold it over at the waistline.
Perfect.
Because it's all straight here, so you're not interfering with any lines or anything.
Wonderful.
And there's my lovely vintage buttons there that I popped on. I've always seemed to have the right button for my project, so it's amazing. So what else can I say? So are we going to do a little demo now?
Yes, please. So what are the
Right.
key stages that you've got?
So we've got the bodice, which is here. So this is the back bodice. So I'm going to just turn that over and show you. And we've got the top bodice here. And so the first stage, what we do is we're going to, and you can see that I have overlocked my edges. Hang on, I've got pins and everything, so let's get all that out.
Now, if you don't have an overlocker, could you use an overcasting stage?
You could, yes, definitely. That's absolutely fine. Or even just pink it. If you've got the
okay.
linen, you can just do some pinking shears or just a zigzag stitch.
We've got a
you know.
pinking rotary cutter blade as well.
That would be
That would
fine,
work as well.
yes, no problem. Now you can see on this diagonal cut line, this is where the V is here. So what you do is whenever you get something like that in dressmaking, you have to do a line of stitching within the seam allowance, and that just stops it stretching, because what you don't want is for that to kind of grow. And the same thing you do around the back of the neck as well. So if I just move that down, you might see. So I've stay stitched around the back of the neck. And so next thing we do is we join the sleeves at the top edge. So I'm just going to get my other glasses on. Bit specky here. And so we just pin it at the top edge. And then we sew, and what you're doing is you're sewing the shoulder seam and the sleeve at the same time. So, it's
That's
so
cheating.
quick. It is a bit cheating, yeah. But I love a cheat, don't
Got
you?
to be done.
Especially if it's sort of,
If it saves you time, of
well,
course. So the fabric you're using at the moment is
Yes.
what have we called this one? Sorry, I've forgotten the name. Country Roses. Isn't it just the most beautiful, beautiful pattern? So this is the bundle that I've got here. So this is 3 meters, which is enough to be able to make the size 22. But we also have this available by the ½ meter too. So do check the website for that.
Now, I'm not going to do any seam edge finishing or anything like that. I'm just
Okay.
going to show you. So obviously you would take a bit more time to finish the raw edge. And also you'd probably press it a bit better than me as well.
The iron is on underneath the table.
Now it's got a bit of a kink in the end of the sleeve here. So it sort of goes, oop. So you just sort of follow it up and down where the and this gives it so a little bit of extra room for when you're folding it back on itself. So you literally, the sleeve is like a very large hem. If you imagine the sleeve, it's a big hem, which then you fold the other way. So it's really, really simple. Big hem, and then you just fold it back. So it's very, very easy. So there's your top shoulder seam. Like so. And then I'll just do the other side.
Did you mean to leave one pin in that seam?
I
With your
didn't
fingers?
know.
Just
actually. Thank
checking.
you.
I've done that many times, that's why I always check.
Can you see there, the little up and down bit there?
Yes.
So just carry on and then sew up and along. Just follow the line of the raw edge.
Now in
So-
quilting we only use a 1/4 inch seam for everything. You're using a
Right.
5/8 inch, is that right?
Now, dressmaking is normally 5/8.
Yes.
But my patterns are 1 centimetre.
Okay.
Now, the reason I do this is because I really love banking up the side of the foot to the edge of the fabric, and it just makes it really easy when you're getting the movement. You can just literally follow the line of the side of the fabric. Now, if you would prefer 5/8 of an inch, then you can always add on half a centimetre on the outside edge of your pattern, if you feel like more comfortable with that. But because my patterns are quite sort of generous fitting, and I sort of feel like I don't always want to have that big seam allowance. So you find a lot of Japanese patterns have the 1 centimetre, and I think I've really been influenced by them, really.
Well, I suppose that's part of your journey, having travelled so much and done so much all over the world.
Yes.
You'll be able to see different techniques that perhaps some people wouldn't have seen.
Yes. It depends on the project. If it's a project that's where it's sort of the fitting is a little bit more precise, then I would probably do a 1.5 centimetres.
So I have to do a stock warning. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're loving the Sewgirl pattern, we have less than 20 of them left in stock. So every single one of you has already purchased one. You've already been entered into the competition. You don't need to do anything more. We do also have kits coming up later with Fiona, but on this wonderful Betty dress pattern, we have less than 20 left of these. Loads of people messaging in as well, loving the design, thinking it's a really wonderful demo. So congratulations. The iron might be a bit hot. Just double check the temperature on it, because I have it really, really boiling. Oh, there are less than 15 of these left now. Wow. So you are clearly loving this. If it is in your basket, please make sure that you say bye-bye, Betty, and it's all yours and you get to keep it, because we don't want you to miss out on this. We will do our best to get them back in stock if they do sell out, but just in case they do, please make sure you check out. You've got the one-day P&P, $3.95. You won't pay any more or any less by checking out multiple times during the day. Postage and packaging is only $3.95, no matter how many times you place the orders. So do make sure you check out if you do want it.
There you go. So do you know what? You could make that into a lovely little bolero jacket, couldn't you?
Gosh, yes.
I mean, it's already looking like a really nice little kimono jacket. So, right, so that's what you do then. And then what we're going to do is we're going to join it on the underside of the side seams here, just on the bodice. So we just...
Oh, that looks very complicated.
No, it's not.
See, I don't dress make, so I don't do any form of clothes making. Ooh. You have 2 pins under your machine there. I don't know if you need any.
Okay, no, I'll just ignore them, I think.
Perfect.
Now, do people know what they get for the competition?
No, please tell us.
Well, they are some of my very exclusive Sewgirl notebooks, which I have designed myself with a machine embroidery and a plique.
My goodness.
And there's a little selection of little portraits. I like to think of them as the Sewgirls. And there's a cat, which is based on my cat Mabel, and they're just like little quirky applique designs, and they're designs for they're notebooks for your ideas. That's the whole,
wonderful.
yes. So they're called My Ideas notebooks. And then there's also a selection of vintage fabric cards. So if you're really into vintage fabric, I've got a really big collection of them, and I just sort of I've photographed some of them, put them on some cards, and some vintage retro sort of motifs. So yeah, so they're really lovely.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
And in order to be entered into that competition, all you have to do today is purchase one of these lovely patterns, or one of the kits that we've got in the next hour, or the next pattern in the next hour. So anybody who does get anything from Sewgirl, you will be automatically entered. So double check our Facebook page for all the details of it. But they sound really amazing.
I know. I'll bring them on in the next show if you like, and show you.
No. Well, if you'd like to get the Betty pattern, we're going to have to order it in, because we have officially sold out of the Betty pattern.
Right, I'm going home now.
Oh, I love it. So do stay tuned. This has been a fabulous hour. Congratulations.
You know, I'm so keen. Well, you know what? I was really worried, because I just thought, oh gosh, you know, are there people going to like it? Are they going to, you know, because I like it, but I just, you know, so and I'm just so pleased. I mean, that means
The great thing
such a
is
lot to
people
me.
are not only buying the pattern, they're buying into you. And if people like you, you've got such a vibrant personality, people are bound to love it.
Well,
And you can
don't know about
tell
that.
you're very passionate about what you do as well.
I really am, actually.
That comes across.
I mean, I live and
Anybody
breathe
who's
what
answering
I do.
people's messages on a Sunday evening
Yes.
and checking up on somebody making the pattern, of course, that just shows such dedication to your craft.
And from all over the world as well.
Exactly. I do love that as well, but I do
Yeah.
think I think time zones need to be remembered, please.
I mean, I did joke. I just said, oh, this is your personal sewing service here, you know, your personal assistant, no charge. But no, it doesn't happen all the time, but it's just nice sometimes, you know, people just get a bit, you know, they start something, they get a bit stuck, you know. So I'm not encouraging people
Well,
to
I think you've obviously...
inundated,
I've
don't
learned
I?
boundaries. I'm not allowed to be using my phone after 7 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah, I think that's quite a good idea. Yes. I can't do that though, I'm afraid. Right, so there we go. That's the bodice done.
But now you're back at 11 o'clock and we've got some lovely bag bundles for you at 11, don't we?
Yes, we've got my lovely Hmong bag, so I'm very excited about that. So there's your bodice all done. And then we're going to move on to the skirt. Now the skirt involves a bit of gathering, and I don't know, probably people have done some gathering on the show.
Well, we've got about 25, 27 minutes if you'd like to give everybody an example.
Yeah, well, I'll give you a little gathering tutorial here because I think
Fabulous.
it's a really useful thing. I mean, they probably know how to do it. Now,
But there will be people who don't. And you'll save yourself answering all these questions on
Yes.
Instagram in the middle of the night.
And I think I'm going to put a gathering tutorial, sort of basically what I'm doing here. I'll put it on the blog as well because, you know, when they get to that bit, it's always nice
if
to
you
see
get it-
something in action, isn't
If
it?
you get it done the way you want it, we've got it on our YouTube channel. You can just do that, put it in from there.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but on this skirt here, I've got these little red threads. Actually, some of them have dropped out. But these are little tailor's tacks, which are for the pocket position. Because it's got some little patch pockets, which are here. And now you could, if you wanted to, put them on at this stage whilst the dress is not together, because sometimes it's much easier to do that. And by transferring the markings to the fabric from the pattern, I've got a little tutorial on my blog about how to sew a tailor's tack. So, and then that just you've got your position of your pocket, and then you can just pin that on and top stitch it. So that's just literally hemmed at the top, turned under at the sides, and then you just place it where you want it to go. I always like to hand tack my pocket on, but you know, some people just go for it, but they regret it later. So I always think, be safe. And I don't hand tack loads of stuff, but you know, things like pockets, neck facings, I always think that's a good idea to hand tack it first. Now, what we're going to do at the top edge of the skirt, so we are going to do a line of running stitch, long straight stitch, and we're going to do it at the maximum stitch length. Now, some people like to relax their tension as well, but I think, you know, the longest stitch length, so I've got 5 on mine, but some other machines are slightly different, aren't they? But the very longest stitch that you've got. Now, you have to start with a length of, if I just move that away, I'm not sure this camera can see the machine. Just start with, pull the threads a little bit, so when you start...
How long would you need?
10 centimetres,
Perfect.
about a hand's width. I always like to use the body as a measuring tool. I was sort of hemming the other day and I thought, yep, 3 fingers. So not very precise. But anyway, so what we're going to do is do a line of running stitch. Now you could do it within the seam allowance, but not beyond it. So you want, as long as you're sort of within the 1 centimetre, you're fine. And you know, when you've got a long running stitch, the machine does go a lot faster. So you might want to adjust your speed if you feel that you're running away with yourself, because you just want to keep that line of stitching straight to the top edge. So here we go. I'm just check it is sewing, yes, and
This is a lovely machine, isn't it?
It is. That's our 550. They're really good little machines.
It's nice and quiet, isn't it?
It is. We've got that one in the 560. The 560's got the thread cutter on it.
Oh, is it? Right.
But the 550 is lovely as well.
Yeah, this one doesn't have the thread cutter, has it?
No, the 550 doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, they're fabulous little machines. I do most of my demos on that one.
Do you? It's easy, isn't it?
I got to play with the 680 today, which is a lovely machine as well.
Is it? Oh.
It's a very grown-up machine.
Is it? Yes, they frighten me a little bit, those machines.
Well, I bought the 720 a couple of weeks ago for my birthday, and it's still in the box in my studio. I keep staring at it and thinking, I must open you.
Yes, you've got to sort of gear yourself up for it, haven't you? Right. Now, some people like to do 2 lines of long stitch, but I'm just going to do the one today.
Sure.
By having 2 lines, what you're doing is making those gathers nice and stand up straight rather than sort of like that.
Well, we have 12 minutes if you want to do the 2.
Shall I do 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
And are you leaving 4 inches on the other side as well? Of leftover thread?
Yes.
Perfect.
So, sorry, when I take it off the machine, I've left some long threads there.
Perfect.
Hands width again, that's fine. So, yes.
So the second running line that you're going to do, are you going to do it above the
Now, the
one you just
second
done?
line of stitching, what I'll do is I will bank the side of the foot to the previous line of stitching.
Mm-hmm.
But I might move my needle position over. So literally I could do it about a quarter of an inch away from the one I've done before, because I want to keep this...
If you want the quarter of an inch, the setting on there is 5.5. If
Right.
you're lining the edge of the foot up with your previous
Yes,
line.
I've just moved it over
Perfect.
to the to the side, so it's fine. So, and then you're just literally running a parallel line of stitching. Now, sometimes when people do gathering stitch, they like to lock the stitches on one end so that when they pull the threads, they don't pull them out. Whereas because this is quite a long width of fabric to gather up, I like to gather from one end to the other. So, but that's...
your lock would be in the middle rather than on the end.
So my lock stitch would be at the beginning?
No, I mean the way your method is, because you're leaving the 2 ends with threads, you'd be locking in the middle.
Well, I wouldn't...
Pulling towards the
Yes, I wouldn't lock it at the middle.
I'm just using the term.
Yes, that's right. They'd sort of meet, wouldn't they? You actually could do that, though. If you locked it in the middle, then you could make sure that the gathers stay within a certain range, wouldn't you? Sort of evenly.
Maybe I do know a bit about dressmaking.
What about shirts? Do you think you could make yourself a shirt, John?
I have, this is my 51st show, and I've still not worn the same shirt twice, and I still have another 40 to 50 shirts in the cupboard.
And you've made them all yourself?
No.
And that
These
one
are all my
is a
husband.
lovely
This is
fabric.
Liberty.
I know that fabric.
It's Liberty.
It's Liberty, isn't
Simon
it? Yeah.
Carter.
I'm sure I've done a project in that fabric.
It's beautiful, yes, I love it. Yeah.
Now, this fabric here that I'm using is going to make it a little bit like a tea dress, which is really fabulous. So, with these lovely hot summer's days that we're going to be having, that would be lovely. But if you do it in linen, it's a little bit more structured. So, which is, just a little bit, it's kind of a different feel about it. Now, sorry.
No. I was just going to say, if you wanted to get one of the Betty patterns, unfortunately they have sold out. But if you're able to join us at 11 o'clock, we can be back then with the Hilda dress, is that right?
Yes, Hilda tunic.
Hilda tunic. Mm. So we've also got a clip of Fiona wearing that. Oh, wow, that's lovely. Oh, brilliant.
I tell you what, Kate Moss is really going to get worried, isn't she?
You look fabulous.
Do you know what I mean? She's got nothing to worry about, Kate Moss.
But you look happy and you look confident and it looks amazing.
I was happy because it was a really nice hot day.
No, already.
Now, I've sneakily...
2 seconds. We have a little stock warning on the Hilda tunic at 11. And that's both size variations now have less than 20 left in stock on the Hilda dress as well. So we haven't even shown them to you. So if you do love the designs by Sewgirl and by Fiona, do check out our website, and you've got all the details there of what's coming up at 11 o'clock. Unfortunately, there are less than 20 available at the moment on both the size variations. So do check that out now. And if you are wanting to get it, pop it in your basket, get it now, and then you've got the whole of the 11 o'clock show just to watch the demo. Speaking of which, we're now ready to gather, aren't we?
We are, yes. And whilst I'm looking at this fabric, whilst you were talking, I was thinking what I really love is matching your nail varnish, which mine doesn't. But, you know, some of these tones in this fabric with a beautiful dusky pink nail varnish would be lovely, wouldn't it?
I love this fabric.
I think little things like that and lipstick to match as well.
Really
that's very much
But it's that little
my style.
detail that you put that little eye to detail that it just gives that extra pop.
And also, if you've got a bit of fabric left over, why not sort of make a simple bag in black, denim or black something, and then line it with the fabric, and then you've got a bag to match, because I just love a little matchy
Well, that's
thing.
part of the reason why we wanted to make sure that everybody got a bundle for the outfit, as well as then doing the half metre, because a lot of people are very crafty that way. They come up with different headbands and different things. Did you see, I don't know if you saw yesterday, people were making slippers from this wonderful book that they had, and I was just looking at this and thinking how gorgeous slippers in this would be as well. It's such fabulous fabric.
It is fabulous.
It's many ways
I
you
love
can use it.
Yes. And the linen is gorgeous as well. I'm not going to reach over because of social distancing, but it's got a lovely texture to it.
It really does.
So it's not just a plain linen. It's actually it's like a really soft, like washed sort of. It's got a lovely texture to it.
It really does.
Right. So we talked about nail varnish.
The important thing. So now you've done the second line.
I've done a sneaky little knot. So what you want to do?
Where's your
let me just move that into the camera. So I've picked up my 2 top threads. Now it could be the 2 under threads if you want to, but I always like to do the top threads.
As long as you're keeping them on the same side, I'm guessing.
2 on the same side. That's right. So and I've done a sneaky little knot here. Now why do I do that knot? You ask. You're asking yourselves, aren't you? Because I can put my little finger in there and use that to just pull.
Ease that through.
And it just keeps those threads even, you see, because if you're pulling one more than the other, your gathers are going to get wonky. And so you can you see how now, let me just ease that about. The gathers are nice and straight there. So when you sew them, they're not kind of going to get all puckered and at an angle. So I just literally...
trick.
So I move this. It's a bit like doing your curtains.
So how much would you gather this?
Well, what you've got to do is gather it as much as the bodice, the lower part of the bodice. There's no measurements or anything. So what you'll do is gather it up, you know, as much as you like, and then pin the sides to the side edges of the bodice. So I'll do that. Actually, I'll show you that bit because it's quite easy. So
we've got about 11 minutes left, so you've got plenty of time.
Loads of time. So
you'll have the whole thing finished by then.
And then we bring back our bodice. Where is it?
There you go.
Here we are. And then the lower edge here. So we're going to sew with the right sides together. So obviously you would have pressed yours. And then we put have I got that in? Yes. And then we, don't worry too much if the gathers aren't eased evenly at this stage. So the best thing to do is to pin it in at the side here.
Now, when you're pinning, are you making sure you don't hit one of those thread lines?
Yes, that's a good idea. Yes,
then you would be able to then gather.
Yes, because then that will block the gathers, won't it? So just pin it in at the sides. Like so. Here we are. I can use some of these floating pins now. And then you've also got these side seams here. So you've got the side seam of where the skirts are joined. So that's matched up to the side seam of the bodice. So if you pin it without blocking your threads, then you can sort of ease them along. They're free flowing then, aren't they? And then the same on this side as well. So just find your side seam, there it is, and then match up to the side seam of the bodice and pin it with the right sides together. I've got my husband outside waiting for me. He's poor thing.
He'll be all right.
He spends his life waiting for me. And then you can sort of ease it so that it fits.
And you do that evenly to try and make sure that it's all even.
That's right. So you want to make sure that all the gathers.
Now, before you actually start gathering it, could you pin it and then start gathering it?
Could you pin it and then start gathering it?
So the way you've pinned it there, if you then, well, it wouldn't be
yes,
uniform,
I suppose you
would
could
it?
do that, yes. I've probably gathered it up a little bit too much, so I'm going to have to take it out now. So, you know, you're probably better not doing it gathering up quite so much. There we go.
But I'm glad you were able to show that, because I think that's a really important thing for people to know.
Yes, yes, I was a bit zealous with my gathering there.
That's all right.
There we go. But yes, if you want to pin and then you can gather. It's only very lightly gathered as well. This, you know, there's not a lot of gather onto it. So it's not, you know, if you feel like it's going to add, you know, a few pounds to you, don't worry about that because it's only very, very light. I have overestimated how much. There we go. So that's now matching up to the back. And then I can just make sure that they're evenly distributed. So, you know, you can take a little bit of time getting that nice, like that. And then pin. I like to sort of just run my fingers along and just, there we go.
I think we've got about 5 minutes left.
And then
Didn't
you
that
pin
go
it.
quick?
It did. It always does, doesn't it, on TV? And then you're pinning, if you pin at an angle like that, where's my pins? Here we go.
I think it rolled under the machine. I've got a great vantage point here. I can see everything that's rolling away.
There we go. And then, so that's the back pinned in. And then you're just going to ease your threads along, your gathers along on the front. There we go. I think gathering's really nice though, because it really sort of makes something look very feminine, doesn't it?
But it also makes the fabric look natural, because your fabric would naturally have a little bit of a bend and a movement in it. And by putting the gather in, I think it definitely adds to it.
It does. I think I'm going to use a lot more gathers actually in clothes because I think they just, I think we've got a lot, there's a lot of frills and things around at the moment, aren't there? And I'm sort of very inspired by that.
But it's also a lot kinder, I think, as well, because sometimes darts and things can be quite severe, whereas this, I think, just gives it that natural easing in, literally.
That's right. There we go. Obviously you would take a little bit longer to sort of, and I like to have my gathers sort of, you know, more at the front, less at the side, you know, so you might want to just maybe have less here and more towards the centre, just so that you can see them a bit more. Do you know what I mean? Right, so now you could hand tack that in if you wanted to, but I don't have the luxury of time for doing that, so I'm just going to sew.
So you've got about 2.5, 3 minutes left there.
Better get a move on then.
Think you're on the sewing bee.
Yes, so I'm just going to clear my settings. Obviously I'm on... Oh, no.
No, just turn, if you pull the other wire out. Wait.
The other one?
There you go.
That's it. There we go.
That is the easiest way of doing it. You just pull the plug out and it resets to the very
I
beginning.
usually just switch mine on and off and it clears it. Does it not do that in this one?
I think you've got to wait a couple of seconds.
Oh, I see,
between
right.
the-
Now, okay, so we're going to do a little back stitch at that end.
So you've adjusted your stitch length back at the moment.
I've adjusted my stitch back and then I'm sewing my 1 centimetre seam. And don't worry if some of your gathers come below the seam. You can always pull them out very easily. Some of your long tacking stitches, you know, if some of them get are a bit exposed. Oops, I haven't done that very well. Yeah, so if you see some of your long tacking stitch or your gather stitch, you can just pull that out afterwards. But what you want to make sure is that you don't have any puckers on the bodice. You know, it's fine underneath, but you want it to be flat here, so you don't want any puckers at the top. Now I've got quite a lot of my gather stitch showing, but I'm not worried about that.
Got about a minute and a half. I feel bad putting a little timer on you, but I think it adds to the suspense of how...
Watching someone sew a line of stitching is not always that exciting, is it really?
Oh, I don't know.
Right, so out come the pins, faster than the speed of light.
Do not stab yourself.
I actually am quite a fast sewer. I mean, I like to, I don't sort of dilly-dally at home. I sort of just get it done. So let's all be revealed. Obviously, it's not pressed, but it will give you the idea.
Oh, that's lovely.
Ta-da! It's lovely, isn't it?
Did you intend to match it almost exactly on the top there?
Yeah.
Brilliant. No, that's really, really
So
good.
there's your bodice. And now just quickly mention the facing. Here's the facing which I've interfaced and I've joined it together. And then that, you literally, I'm going to just do it on mine here, with the right sides together. You wear it
Wrong
like
sides together.
You're doing it with the right sides facing each other.
Yes, of course.
And then you're literally stitching it on.
I think
all
you've just
the way
covered your
round.
microphone. There we go.
Stitch it on all the way round. So
Brilliant. Well,
And the
thank you
pockets
so
and
much.
so
We've got you
outside
back at
and that.
11 o'clock.
yes,
That was fabulous. That was really good.
great.
Doesn't an hour go quickly?
It does, yes. Let's hope I've calmed down by.
You'll be absolutely fine. Get a nice cup of
Right.
tea and we will
Yes.
see you in a few
Tea,
minutes.
Tea. Right. See you later.
Brilliant.
Shopping with us couldn't be easier. If you want to shop online, then you can head to our website, www.sewingstreet.com. It will redirect you to our sister channel Jewellery Makers landing page. Don't worry, you haven't gone to the wrong place. We're simply using their website temporarily while we're building our own web shop. Scroll down past the Watch Live part and you'll see all of the products that you will have seen on air on today's live show. You can also shop our catalogue by clicking a category, clicking a product to view closer and adding it to your basket. Once you're ready to check out, you will need to create an account, which is absolutely free to do so, but it will mean that you can check out on as many orders as you want throughout the day with still only paying one postage and packaging. If you'd prefer to speak to somebody in our UK-based customer service team, then you can do so via the free telephone line number 0800 001 4433. They will not only help you create an account, but will also help you with any of your online shopping.
Wasn't that amazing? Oh, I love that. Such a great demo. Learned a huge amount there. And the pattern sold out. The Hilda pattern in both the sizes were less than 20 in the middle of that hour. So we're back at 11 with that. So do make sure you check that out on the website. And hopefully there'll still be stock when we start our show. I'm just going to recap these wonderful bundles. This is what Fiona did her demo in. Isn't that just beautiful? Absolutely stunning. So this is a 3-meter bundle that we've got available today. That is to the largest size of the pattern, which is up to 22. So there's more than enough fabric here to be able to make up to size 22. That's 3 meters. And just look how beautiful this design is. I absolutely love that. I think it is so beautiful. Really, really stunning that. We've also got this available by the 1/2 meter. So do make sure you check out the 1/2 meter as well. How much was the 1/2 meter? I forgot. £7.99 for the 1/2 meter there. So we have got the country roses in the 1/2 meter as well. But if you'd prefer to do the linen, we've got this gorgeous pink linen as well. This again is 3 meters, a 3-meter bundle, and you can just see that absolutely beautiful texture on it, and it feels incredible. Really beautiful fabric. This is 3 meters of the Sewgirl Betty pink Betty dress fabric bundle. This is for £35.49. But we've also got that one available by the 1/2 meter. Is that £5.99? £5.99. I'm remembering these prices today. It's great. So that's the stonewashed linen in pink. That's available by the 1/2 meter at £5.99. If you prefer to go for the blue, we've also got this wonderful blue bundle available for you today. 3 meters of the Sewgirl Betty blue stonewashed linen, almost say denim there, but it's not. The linen fabric here. This is £35.49. Again, you can see that beautiful texture on it, and it's got such a luxurious feel to it. It's really, really lovely. So that's available there as a 3-metre bundle, but we've also got the half metre available in the same one, also for £5.99 at half metre as well. Now, if you love the Sewgirl patterns in this hour, this is Fiona wearing the Hilda tunic that we're going to be watching at the 11 o'clock hour, and she'll be demonstrating. Now, we've got the various size variations on this as well, so check the website out. We're going to be back with that at 11 o'clock. So we're also going to be bringing new Sewgirl bag kits as well today. I can't remember what did she call it, the Hera? It's just a bag kit. Sorry, I thought she named the bag kit. My apologies. So that's back up at 11 as well. So looking forward to that in an hour's time. After that, next hour, we've got some fabric and tools and really exciting. We've got extra wide backing back. Really looking forward to that. So we're going to just go and clear the set, get ready for the next one. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Thanks for seeing me back. My favourite piece of kit with the sewing is the seam ripper. Hello, I'm Janice from Birmingham. I specialise in dressmaking. I used to run a children's shop and I love making children's clothes. My mother encouraged me to sew from an early age. When we were young, we did dressmaking in school. My claim to fame was the sewing quarter, but I'm now making also jumpsuits for ladies and men of all shapes and sizes, and it seems to be going for the festivals around the country. See you on the show.
Shopping with us couldn't be easier. If you want to shop online, then you can head to our website, www.sewingstreet.com. It will redirect you to our sister channel Jewellery Makers landing page. Don't worry, you haven't gone to the wrong place. We're simply using their website temporarily while we're building our own web shop. Scroll down past the Watch Live part and you'll see all of the products that you will have seen on air on today's live show. You can also shop our catalogue by clicking a category, clicking a product to view closer, and adding it to your basket. Once you're ready to check out, you will need to create an account, which is absolutely free to do so, but it will mean that you can check out on as many orders as you want throughout the day with still only paying one postage and packaging. If you'd prefer to speak to somebody in our UK-based customer service team, then you can do so via the free telephone line number 0800 001 4433. They will not only help you create an account, but will also help you with any of your online shopping.
If you love sewing, then you need the UK's favourite sewing magazine. Every month, you'll receive exclusive patterns. Follow simple step-by-step guides suitable for all skill levels to make your own stunning clothes, accessories and more, together with inspiring tips and tricks from industry experts. Join in and discover your love for sewing. Try Love Sewing today and get your first 3 issues for just £6.
Hello there, I'm Debbie Shaw, and I would love you to join me on the first Monday of every single month for Sewing Street Surgery. Now, this is a dedicated hour where I answer your questions, and that could be questions about techniques, it could be questions about tools, it could be questions about new products, or maybe something that you've seen that you just don't understand. There's a lot of questions about tensions on sewing machines, and there's a lot of questions about working with different weights of fabrics. So if you have a question that you'd like to ask me, the easiest way to bring a question over to us is to go to our Facebook page and post your question on there. I will collate all of those questions throughout the week. If we need any new products for you, or if we need any new demonstrations, those will all be worked on leading up to that first Monday of the month. So do join me, Debbie Shaw, on Sewing Street Surgery on the first Monday.
Hello, I'm Catherine Wright. I'm from Leicestershire Craft Centre, which is based in Market Harborough. I love all kinds of sewing, but probably my favourite thing to do is dressmaking, but I also teach patchwork and free motion embroidery and anything to do with textiles really. I love to have a go at felting and crochet and knitting and you name it, I'll have a go at it. So I started sewing when I was 7. My mum taught me to sew, and the very first thing I made was an apron. But I'm a terribly impatient person. I just want to get on with the project. So I didn't wait for her to help me cut it out, and I cut it out myself, and I didn't know you had to have a seam allowance. So I made the world's smallest apron, and my mum still has it somewhere. Sewing tips, I would say, I teach a lot of people to sew, especially beginners, and I would say don't get disheartened, take your learning journey slowly. Don't expect to suddenly make a ball gown or suddenly make a king-size quilt. Build up your skills, slowly. And I would also say the iron is your friend. Use your iron a lot. It makes your sewing look so much better. It helps you get things in place where you want it before you sew, and is a really handy thing to have.
Would you like to take part in our weekly competition? If you do, then all you have to do is head to the Sewing Street fan page group on Facebook. Post your picture of your make. Myself, Debbie Shaw and John Cole Morgan love looking at all of your makes every week. We pick our favourite and announce the winner every Friday live on the show. Happy sewing and good luck.
Hello everyone, I'm Delphine Brooks. It's so great to be here and part of the Sewing Street family. I'm local, I'm only down the road in Warwickshire. I started sewing many years ago when I was very young, doing lots of art and painting, and eventually I went into textiles, and I really enjoyed doing the two together. I then had a bit of a break. Something you don't know about me maybe is that I spent many years in the Royal Air Force and eventually in the police as well. And then I went full circle and I've come back to my happy place of sewing, and which I really enjoy. My best sewing tip is measure twice and cut once. I have chipped up a couple of times by not measuring properly, and I do always regret it. So now I always measure twice, cut once. Anyway, I really hope to be with you again soon, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.
Would you like to take part in our weekly competition? If you do, then all you have to do is head to the Sewing Street fan page group on Facebook. Post your picture of your make. Myself, Debbie Shaw and John Cole Morgan love looking at all of your makes every week. We pick our favourite and announce the winner every Friday live on the show. Happy sewing and good luck.
Hello there, I'm Debbie Shaw, and I would love you to join me on the first Monday of every single month for Sewing Street Surgery. Now, this is a dedicated hour where I answer your questions, and that could be questions about techniques, it could be questions about tools, it could be questions about new products, or maybe something that you've seen that you just don't understand. There's a lot of questions about tensions on sewing machines, and there's a lot of questions about working with different weights of fabrics. So if you have a question that you'd like to ask me, the easiest way to bring a question over to us is to go to our Facebook page and post your question on there. I will collate all of those questions throughout the week. If we need any new products for you, or if we need any new demonstrations, those will all be worked on leading up to that first Monday of the month. So do join me, Debbie Shaw, on Sewing Street Surgery on the first Monday.
And welcome back. We have got the most fantastic hour for you. Extra wide backing, and these are beautiful, absolutely stunning, brand new today. Look at those gorgeous colors. I absolutely adore these. So we're going to start with the navy, because you know I love my blue, and we have a new Susan, do we call her Susan? We call her Susan, yes. We've got a new Susan now, just to show you how wide it is. We're going to call her Betty, I think, in honour of the Betty dress from Fiona today. So this is our new Betty helper today. Brand new to Sewing Street today. Whoopsie. I'm stepping on this one over here. So what we've done now, we've got our usual extra wide backing. Just look at that beautiful, beautiful design and pattern on there. But what we've done is we have tried to, sorry, Betty seems to be getting a little bit, leaning a little bit more towards me. There we go. So what we've done now is we've tried to make sure that we can guarantee that fabulous price point that we were always bringing you for our extra wide backing, which is why you've still got it at £8.99 for a ½ metre. And oh, sorry. But look at this fabric, look at the design on it. It is so pretty. I absolutely love that. I think it is so, so lovely. It's sort of, I don't know how you describe that. It's just sort of a mottled effect and it's absolutely stunning. Love this blue and just look at that beautiful effect on there. Absolutely lovely. You see, the thing for this is I would be using extra wide backing, obviously, for quilts, because that's just who I am. But also, I've seen a lot of people making reusable gift bags, which I think this is such a great piece of fabric to be able to do, because this is such a lovely colour to be able to use for reusable gift bags, especially with men. Most of them don't really use wrapping paper and things like that. But if you made them a nice little bag that they could then go and get their shopping with later, it's just a nice way of being that little bit greener thing, just being able to reuse things. I think it's just a nice way of being able to do it. But there's so much fabric in there for £8.99. You can just see how much you're getting there. But this colour, can you imagine this as linings of bags themselves? Even dressmaking, it's got a beautiful feel to it. It's really lovely. So that's our navy blue. Let me show you. Are we calling this grey or stone? We're just checking now. Isn't that sand? Light grey, just checking. Hello, Betty. Right, let's see if I can do this. Betty, stand still. Thank you, my darling. There we go. So this is the light grey, 108 inches wide, ½ metre long. It's 108 inches long, ½ metre wide. You can barely see me. There's so much fabric here. All of this is £8.99 for this piece. Now, if you're wanting to buy various units of it, so if you wanted 3 metres, you'd buy 6 units, and this would come to you as a 3 metre piece. And just look at that incredible design again. It's so subtle. So you've got that effect of being able to have a single colour on the back, but you've also got some movement in it to be able to create a little bit of a lovely effect there. And there is so much fabric here. Now, previously, the lighter colours of these have been incredibly popular because they're just so natural and they just work so beautifully. What I love about it, I do a lot of long arm quilting. What I love about it is if you put a really high contrast bobbin into your machine, so say on this one I'd be using a purple or I'd be using an orange, being able to do that, it would show your quilting up really, really, really effectively on that. And it just gives that extra little feature, being able to then put that contrasting bobbin in, because it just pops the fabric. It just, with the, for example, our early bird we had today, we had all those wonderful colours. You could then be able to pop those in your bobbin and quilt using this on. You've just got a totally different dynamic to your quilt. So here we've got our sand colourway. With the sand, you could perhaps put a brown in or a grey and just be able to get that beautiful effect of a contrast. And I have to say, I do think that this sand might be my favourite. But imagine for applique, we did that wonderful applique quilt of mine last week. That would have been a gorgeous colour to use for the background colour. This is such a beautiful, beautiful fabric. It really, really works. And you can just see that is something, it won't detract from the front of a quilt. It just kind of blends in beautifully with the colours that you've used on the front. Really, really lovely, lovely quality, these. Imagine you're doing a tilde quilt or something, then perhaps that grey is the exact colour that you need to do your backing on that. And when just mentioning tilde's range, the grey works so well with the tilde. you'll be able to then just match this up. And because you also I want to extend the life of my really beautiful, expensive fabrics, and being able to add something equally as beautiful with such great quality, adding something like this to those more expensive fabrics, you can then extend the life of them and make more just by adding something with the same quality on it. It just got that beautiful colour in it and that texture. It's definitely not lesser quality, don't think that at all. It's just because the quality is excellent on these. They're really good. And they call it backing because it's extra wide. It's 108 inches. That's just the term somebody came up with. It was somebody in the middle of nowhere came up with that, and it's stuck because it's extra wide, and that's what's happened. So that is what we've got here today, our 3 beautiful colours, really great feel to it, great design on them. I don't know which one my favourite is. I think actually the grey. Putting the 3 together like that, I think the grey. I don't know. Well, message in and let us know which ones you like. So I'll keep those just over here and we'll be able to come back to them throughout the show. What we got next? Now, I am always asked, what is your top book in quilting ever? I run a Facebook group, and on there somebody from America recommended this book, and every time somebody recommends a book I go, Well, I was wrong. Linda Clements is an absolute genius. This book is one of the best quilting books I have ever read. Every single thing you could possibly want to know about quilting is in this book. This is available today for $15.99, and it is an absolute delight. Look through this. You have got absolutely everything. You go through your getting started. It shows you your marking tools, shows you your cutting tools, shows all your sewing tools, your pressing tools. It even mentions the gizmos and the gadgets that you could possibly want. It goes through the materials, the different type of materials that you could be needing, your shears, your metallics, your synthetics. It literally gives you absolutely everything, even down to the fusible interfacings you could use, what different embellishments you could use, your different types of wadding. Your colour wheel. This to me has got to be the most important thing with quilting, is your colour wheel. And a lot of people don't understand the colour wheel. This gives you a great basic understanding of exactly what it is you're doing and what warm and cold colours are, what's great as a contrast and what's great as a complementary colour. It's a really, really important thing that a lot of people don't quite get. This gives you a great example with fabrics, because I think what's important is when you've got the side-by-side complementary fabrics there, you can see what that means and understand what that means by getting the definitions and the descriptions of it. It even goes down to estimating how much you need for your fabrics. It shows you how to press, shows you bias and warp weft, and your bias and your cross grains. It's really great. Even going into enlarging and reducing with regards to templates. It shows you safety cuttering on here. Always lock your rotary cutter blade. If it's not on the mat, it must be locked. That's my only top tip on it. It even goes down to using the internet, interacting on the websites that you can join on to, gives you technology, and then you've got loads of different quilt settings and common blocks that you can use, the different types of quilts, what they are and why they're called that, and even simple things like, just going back a page because I remember seeing this, looking at a log cabin. All they've done is taken a log cabin block and put it on point, but you can see that your corners of your log cabin create a kite or a diamond block in the middle. It's just very, very cleverly written. It shows you the one patch blocks, so using the same patch, being the hexagon or the diamond or a half hexagon, shows you how you can make the different quilts and how you get the 3D effects on them. And then it shows you the difference between a 4-patch block, a 5-patch block, a 7-patch block, a 9-patch block. Things like that are something that you don't normally know about, but once you go through the book and you read them, you can then see. You get loads of different sampler quilts here as well, depending on the fabric, on how best to do that. It explains English paper piecing, cushions, different techniques. It shows you how to set your seams, shows you how to do a partial seam, offsetting your seams. Now, just that in itself is a 1.5 to 2 years worth of techniques that you just would learn on your own and potentially get it wrong all the way through. This book shows you absolutely everything. Because I know when I started learning online, I didn't read any of the books. I just went online, played, got it completely wrong, and then started reading. The great thing I love about this as well is when you get a simple set like that, where you've just got 4 log cabins, you might not be able to see the stitching on here, but it actually gives you an example of how best to quilt something like that, going into concentric circles all the way through. It's a really cleverly written book. Also gives you the tips of what you're doing and how you're making it, and how then once you've done your strip sets, what you can make out of it and how best to expand on it. Shows you how to do a lone star, and you just keep going all the way through the book. Shows you the techniques on how to make a bargello. Literally every single thing you could possibly want to know about quilting is in this book. It shows you curves, and I'm now skipping sections because there's just so much. This I love because it's crazy patchwork, and that's what got me inspired about crazy patchwork is what got me inspired about quilting. And this is, if you're doing it by hand, it shows you how best to do it by hand with tacking it all down, and you've just got all these incredible techniques. It also shows you the effect of actually quilting using hand stitching. This is a fun bag made by Gail Lawther, actually, which is very interesting. I love the when really big names in the business collaborate with books and things. I think that's great. This is Lynn Edwards' bag as well. So not only will you get quilting tips, you'll be able to learn how to do bags like that as well. Then it explains sashing, because a lot of us don't understand sashing. And then look at the sashing there, just creating a slightly different effect with your sashing there. And you can just see we're on page 135, and I'm absolutely blown away with how much I've learned already. It also then shows you a plique and how to do a plique. And you've got your motifs and your templates if you want to keep going. And Hawaiian applique, this has got to be the most exciting thing I've ever made. It's absolutely incredible. So go through and have a little look at that. It's just a fabulous book filled with loads of different ideas. Then you're actually getting on to the actual art of quilting and how best to prepare your quilt, whether you're sending it to a long armour, what the different terms are in the ditch, cross-hatching, outline, echo quilting, motif quilting, all-over quilting, vermicelli, doing a repeat pattern quilt. It gives you all the different ideas of how best to do it, and you can see it actually then draws it onto something as simple as a rail fence on how best you could how you could quilt that to make something very special. And I love the fact over here, you'll see you've got a lot of negative space in this quilt, and how the quilting has been done in order for it to be highlighting and complementing the blocks that aren't empty. It's just a really brilliant book to be able to get absolutely everything that you need to know regarding quilting. And it is, I saw this, I didn't know that was on, and I was like, that is my favourite book in the whole world of quilting. So this is absolutely brilliant. Linda Clements has written something very special here, and hopefully you'll be able to enjoy that as well. $15.99 today, available all day. Now, earlier on I mentioned about our fabulous early bird today. I'm going to show you this incredible product. I have put my bobbin over here, because we need a bobbin for me to show you how incredible this is. Now, no bobbins are included in this pack, but you're getting 10 different spools for less than £2 a spool. But each one of these spools, what it comes with this, what are we calling this? Is it a little prong? A bobbin clip, that's what it's called. So what you do is you got your little bobbin clip, and you take your bobbin not included, and you push it through until the bobbin comes on there and it can rotate round. You then pop your bobbin clip into the top of your cotton spool. These are completely free in this early bird today, and you've got 10 different threads that are coming. Each one of these threads is 100 meters, and they are polyester. But I personally prefer to sew with polyester, and the quality of Gutermann is absolutely fantastic. And the idea is for each one of these 10 spools, you have 10 different bobbin clips. Whoops, I've dropped one. You've got 10 different bobbin clips that then each one of the spools, you would put a bobbin of the colour of each spool on the top. So if you were doing piecing and you needed this gorgeous turquoisey teal colour, you've then got a matching bobbin on the top of it ready to go. So you're getting 10 of these wonderful bobbin clips, and you're getting 10 spools of this fabulous Gutermann polyester thread for less than £2 a spool. It's going to be $16.99 for all 10 of those. So that's what, £1.70 a spool, £1.69 something a spool. Love that. And it comes in this wonderful little presentation box as well, because I don't know about you, but when I get things like this, I like to look at them for ages before I break them up and use them. And it comes in this wonderful little presentation pack available there. I just adore this. It's such a great deal today. And don't forget, if you've already been lucky enough to get one of these wonderful early birds, you've already paid your £3.95 postage and packaging for the day. Whoops, what's fallen out? I couldn't do that again if I tried. I don't know how I did that. I popped it in and all the spools just popped up at the top. There we go. So one day P&P, $3.95. So if you've been lucky enough to get our early bird already, you've paid it. So the rest of the day, you've got free postage and packaging because you've already paid it in your early bird. Really great deal there. $16.99 for those 10 spools and those 10 clips. And those clips are fantastic. Love that. So what we got next? Now we had wadding on yesterday, but maybe you don't want to buy the wadding by the half metre. You've now got our queen size wadding, which is 228 centimetres by 274. If I'm not mistaken, that's 90 inches by 108. I think that's it. But this is the 80-20 blend, a beautiful, beautiful product, really lovely feel to it. And these are available for £44.99 today. That's a huge amount of wadding you're getting there. 90 inches by 108, and that is £44.99. And this is now available all day. This is the 80-20 wadding. Personally, I prefer the 80-20 wadding or 100% cotton, simply because I think you get a much nicer drape with your quilt. So that's my preference on it. But we've also got the 100% polyester one. Now my friend Angie, who's been sewing for 45 years and doing quilting for that long, has only ever used polyester wadding. Reason being is that you get a much more puffed up / 3D effect when you're quilting with polyester, because it just gets that natural loft to it and your quilting just stands out that little bit more. It's a lot lighter as well, so if you are making bigger quilts, the polyester does actually work out better because your quilt isn't quite as heavy as with using the 80-20 or 100% cotton. That's available for £29.99. It's the same size as the previous one, 228 centimetres by 274. That's 90 inches by 108. And there is no right or wrong. It's what works best for you and what you prefer. And that is our 100% polyester. You can see it all beautifully, neatly lined up in our little bag there. But you can see even in our bag, you've got that nice puff on it. And if I just put the 80-20 wadding between it, you can see why my friend Angie prefers the polyester, because even in the bag it's puffing out a lot more, whereas mine doesn't. My quilting on the 80-20 doesn't quite have that beautiful puff on it as it does with the polyester. It's just a difference of opinion on what you prefer. Really, really great products these. Great prices for both as well. $29.99 for the polyester wadding today, queen size. Now, I am very excited about this because I hadn't played with this before, and I got to play with it this morning. So this is our wonderful stitch remover. We had this on the other day and I saw it and I was clapping like crazy being able to see I have to play with that. It looks amazing. This is now back in stock. So the box that you're going to get, it's going to look like this. So this is what it would look like when it comes to you. You've got your charger. I'm not sure. I never know how to put the chargers back in once you've taken it out. So your charger will live there somehow. You can smush that down in the box when you get it. That's your charger. That recharges your trimmer. The stitch remover, that recharges it as a normal plug-in play thing there. You then get this wonderful brush that you can then just make sure you're keeping your your blades clear, your cutting mechanism, just making sure you keep that clear. You're also getting a little dropper thing for oil. It doesn't come with oil in it, but if you did want to add any oil or cleaning product in it, that's what you do with that. I don't know if I've ever used any of things like that, but there we go. And then you've got your fabulous trimmer, which, as you can tell now, as I'm doing that, you can see it's turned on. Now, this is an absolutely brilliant little product. Now, I've never used one before, so today was my first time using it, so forgive me if I get this wrong. What I'm going to show you now is, it's like, I don't know what the best description is. You pop the blade against the stitch that you want to remove. So you can see over there I've got my stitch. I've started over here, and the great thing I loved about this is once you've started, you've got like that, you then take your thread from the back, because your thread from the back is still solid, and you put your finger on there, and then most of your threads completely come away. So you get the flat edge of your blade, you're going to pop that onto the fabric over here, and then you get you can see that the next stitch that is going to be undone, you're going to pop that against the stitch there. You then activate it so you can see it's working. And I'm now you can see I've just rested my hand on the fabric, and then there we go. And all you do is, as you keep going, you just keep going. Now I cleverly or uncleverly have stitched on both sides of the fabric to be able to see in case one side worked and one side didn't. And all you do is you just keep going all the way along. I'm absolutely addicted to this. And you just keep going all the way along. And all you're doing is you're literally just keeping this flat side of the cutter on your table, and you just keep moving your hand along. It doesn't cut the fabric, because when I saw it I thought, oh, that's going to definitely tear my fabric, but it doesn't. You can see that whole stitch is completely out. That whole line of stitching is completely out there. Oh, I'm on a roll there. Look at this. How satisfying is that? Oh, I love it. And there we go. How long would it have taken you to unpick both of those lines? And you can see I did my wonderful stitching over here really, really close together so that I can show exactly how good it is. And then on the other side, when you've done it, this thread is completely intact. So all you're doing then is you pull this back and the majority of the threads come out, and then you give your fabric a little bit of a shake and the majority of the threads have gone out. So you can see previously why this sold out so well. You can tell because it's so addictive. If I had the sewing machine here, I'd sew another couple of lines on and do some more. Really, really great product there. And I know you always see online, you see these gadget and gizmos and things like that. I'm buying one. They are fabulous. They really, really are. Really good. So, but just if you are interested in getting one, it did sell out the last time we had it on. So don't hang around. We don't know how much. We don't know whether we'll be able to get back. Stock is going to be able to get back in. You know what I mean? Because that's the great thing about having us being able to demo this, is because you'll see it in a shop or you'll see it online and you'll think, oh, I don't know about that. And then you can just see, is this going to work? Isn't it going to work? And you just got to ask yourself, is your unpicking process something that you absolutely love to do? Is it something you really want to spend your time doing? Or if you have had a horrible moment where you want to unpick something, do you actually want to have a little bit of fun and unpick that whole seam in one go? You saw how quick it was doing that, and my stitch length was 1.5 on that, so you can imagine how long it would have taken you to unpick that with an unpicker. So there you go. That is definitely my product of the day. Love that. Also, oh, but you see as well, the reason I did this at 1.5, I can't say that I thought it was a clever idea. I was preparing my foundation paper piecing demo and I thought, oh, I'll just do a whole load of seams. So you can see I had that at 1.5. Both of those seams are at 1.5. So that, which is the size you'd be using for your foundation paper piecing. And anybody who's unpicked 1.5 foundation paper piecing sizes knows how frustrating it is. And it was so easy with that. So there we go, £29.99. That is definitely my pick of the day there. Next we have got a Sensational Quilts for Scrap Lovers by Judy, and I hope it's Gotha. I apologise if I got that wrong. Judy G, that's it, we're going to call her Judy G. Now Judy's written several books before, they are really lovely. This one is based mainly on your scraps. Now what I love about books like this is you go through and you see which of the scraps you have. I've got that one, I know I have that one. And I've got that in 3 different colourways as well, and I made a quilt out of it in black. Oh my goodness, I've got that one as well. I've just seen my beautiful little telephones. And there, sorry. So that's what I love about books like this, is that you get to go through and you can see those little telephones. I know that Colin Friend, a new client of mine, came through and bought some of those the other day. Look at that. And I love these designs because they are so clever, and each and every one of these quilts will be completely unique. This is the one that I absolutely adored, the frontal boundaries, and that's based on a weather storm. Now before we get to the actual patterns, what's great about this is it actually shows you odd shapes, bias edges. It tells you how to deal with all of those in your quilt making process. It shows you how to do making cornerstone blocks, shows you how to do all of that, and it just gives you nice simple tips on how best to actually do your quilts. Over and above that, it tells you how to create something called a scrap organizational tree, separating by color, getting your scrap colors, so you'll do an orange, red, yellow, green, purple, blue, pink, brown, white, cream and grey, white and cream, grey, setting those colors as your lead color and then sorting it out into the scrap bin, anything greater than ½ a yard, fat quarters, and then sorting them out accordingly to that. Sylvia, you've got a job next week, darling. But the great thing is it then teaches you about the complementary, split complementary, monochromatic and adjacent colours. It'll show you details about the colour wheel. So when you're creating blocks like this, your fabric is already sorted for you, being able to create that. And then it goes into more detail about the colour wheel and colour transitioning and how to best do that. It's a really, really informative book with regards to things like that. Because I think if you don't understand the colour wheel and you don't understand this aspect of the book, the last sort of 6 pages, when you come to make quilts that look like that, you're not going to quite understand as well as if you have read all of that. If you've got all that information in, you can see how effectively and beautifully these all merge together. By popping the pink in there, you're introducing the pink going forward. You've got the yellow that's being introduced a bit further up as well. It's a really, really clever technique and a clever book. It's telling you how to sew curves, and then we go to once the curves are done, and I'm not sure I could do that, but anyway. I've tried curves, they still scare me, but there we go. And then you get onto the quilts. Now this quilt I absolutely adore. I'm very tempted to make this quilt very soon because it was just such a clever idea. This is actually a weather pattern in the United States of America, and you can see that it's got the color coordinating going all the way through, and these were the temperatures of -3, I think these are all in Fahrenheit, they are -3 degrees Fahrenheit, -14, -23, -34 degrees Fahrenheit. But the great thing is that it shows you another way to get inspiration. And this then shows you the purple over there are meant to be the colder sections of the northern parts of North America. Then the blue is meant to be relatively cool, whereas the yellow is then the more hot sections of the country down the bottom. And it's just, is it America? I think it's America. Sorry, I was just looking at that and I was just thinking, gosh, is it, isn't it? Whichever country it is, you can see that that's the idea of it. It's the weather format on that. And then it shows you how to make it. It tells you how to make the triangular blocks on their own and then transitioning into different colours. And it shows you different ways of introducing the colours to be able to gradiate in and out. So you can see you've got these over here joining in, introducing the yellow going down, making more yellow, going back up here you've got the purple, then going up into the pink. It just shows you how to introduce all of those. It's a really clever technique being able to do that, and that's sort of a rough graph of how best to do that. Then we've got the true north cutting plan and all that. And all of these different designs just show you how best to use all of your scraps. And it tells you how big your pieces need to be and how many squares you need. So this one you need 180 4.5-inch squares. So that way if you haven't got yardage and you are looking to use strips, that's how best to go around doing it and being able to figure out in your scraps what you've got and what you still need. And each one of these projects, they go around and show you how to make each block, what you actually need for each project, what scraps you need, and how best to do it. It's a really, really clever book, this. And Judy G has nailed it, in my opinion. Sensational quilts for scrap lovers, and this has got 11 different quilt projects in there. That's £23.99 today. Really lovely book. That would. Next, we've got our fabulous Wonder Clips. Now, all of you have seen me use Wonder Clips repeatedly. I absolutely love Wonder Clips. Now, the main thing I use Wonder Clips for is when I'm doing a quilt. So if we can imagine that is my quilt edge. I'm going to put a very large binding on that. So if this is my quilt edge over here, I'm then going to put my binding. I'm going to attach my binding there, and I'm going to sew this down on the raw edges all the way there. That's my binding on. And then when I want to do my binding, because I do a double binding, or should I say I do my binding and then Sylvia does a double binding, you then fold your fabric over, and then you've got this wonderful Wonder Clip. And what happens is the back of your quilt needs to be flat, whilst that's a little bit too big. So you fold your fabric towards the back of the quilt. So what happens there is you put the flat edge towards the back of your quilt, and then on the front edge you've got the curve of the bulk of the binding being able to go into the Wonder Clip curve over here. So the flat edge would be the back of your quilt over there, which you'd then put on, and then all that wonderful curve that they've got there is where you would then be able to put your binding in. And then by doing that, it just makes sure that you hold everything together nice and tightly, so when you want to then attach the binding on the back, it's really, really easy to do that. Wonder Clips are really, really good as well when you're using PU or leather, because you can hold your fabric together like this. So if we can imagine this was PU and we were wanting to sew this as a bag handle together, you hold that together. All you do next is you pop that on, get your Wonder Clip on, and then you can attach that without having any pin marks into your PU and your leather. This is a box of 50 available. You've got many different colours in here. I think it's 5. I'm just going to double check. There's definitely less than 50 in the box because they're so popular. When you get them, you will have 50, but these are so popular and we keep using them. And they're all in different projects all over the building. So that is I think those are the 5 colours that you get in this combination. See, what I like about the different colours is, and I'll be perfectly honest, what I do is I hate hand binding quilts. I hate it, which is why Sylvia does it. So what I used to do is if I was doing my binding, what I would do is I'd have a blue one, then I'd have a red one, I'd have an orange one, then I'd have a yellow one, then I'd have a green one, and then I'd have another blue one. And once I'd hand quilted from there to there, I'd have a chocolate. And then I'd keep it in order and keep going. And then I'd have another chocolate as I go through all the colourways, because I think that's a little treat for yourself. But the great thing is that what you can do is, with a box of 50, I think you get 10 of each colour. What you can do is you can have blues as one project, so you can only use your blue Wonder Clips for one project. What's really handy as well is if you do your binding at different heights, as different lengths, so some of you will be doing miniature quilts, you won't use a 2.5-inch binding, you'll use a smaller one because your quilt is a lot smaller. That way then you know you'll be using your blue Wonder Clips. And I know it sounds silly, but the number of times you are doing a project and you forget, but you know that if you've allocated your blue Wonder Clips onto one project, you'll then know that that's a much smaller binding. You only need to do a single turn on it. By having the blue, you'll remember that. So I like to have a specific colour for all of my Wonder Clips for my different projects. Sylvia doesn't mind which way I do it, so she just gets them all attached on and gets on with it really. But they are really one of the best things for quilters to use, bag makers to use. We had Alison Marion on earlier this week making that beautiful apron, or was it last week? They all merge into one at the minute. And she used these as well because she was making those wonderful aprons and putting her bias binding on as well. So when you're putting bias binding on, when you've got the pins going through the bias binding, you stretch and damage the bias. By having the Wonder Clips as well, that just keeps your bias really, really nice and straight and keeps everything nice and simple as you're going through the machine to stitch that on. These are a box of 50 available today for £28.99. Yes. Yes, we had extra wide backings in today for the first time. Oh, we have a stock warning on the navy. How many? 1-4. There are only 14 meters left of this blue extra wide backing. Everybody is multi-buying these, so we only have 14 meters. Is that 28 units? 28 units of this left. So if you are looking for some extra wide backing, this has got the most fantastic design on it and fabulous pattern. Really beautiful. £8.99 for a half metre. This is now on, we've only got 28 units of this blue left, of the navy blue. So if you are interested in getting it and it is in your basket, please make sure you check out. We don't want you to be missing out on anything there. We've also got the light grey and we've got the sand. Let me remind you how much you're getting with this. I'm going to be using our wonderful little dress mannequin, which I've now called Betty, in honour of our dress that we've just had in from Fiona. And this is how much fabric you're going to be getting. This is I can't remember. It's 108 inches wide. Is that 2.8? We're just double checking. But you're getting half a metre of this. It's 108 inches wide, and that's £8.99 by the half metre. Oh, and Debbie wants to do a twirl, so I'll twirl with Debbie. Not Debbie, Betty. It's because I saw Debbie's picture over there on the other side of the room. So these, we've got less than 14 metres of this left now. So it's 274 centimetres wide by 50. That's in the metric. Otherwise, it's 108 inches by just over 19 if you're looking for the imperial. That's we've got available. It's new today, the extra wide backing. We've got it in the navy. We've got it in that beautiful, beautiful light grey. And we have it in the sand. Do you want it on the overhead? That one? There's the light grey. And then we also have the wonderful cream. Sand, not cream. There's Debbie as well. There she is. Brilliant. Now we've also got the thread doodling book. This is so, so lovely. By a lady called Karina Envelson Harris. I apologise if I got that wrong. Karina, this is her beautiful, beautiful book called Thread Doodling. Oh, look at this. Oh, we had this on the other day. I loved this. She's a Danish designer and she's living in the UK. And she's got 20 modern designs on stitching in the moment. Maybe you want to take a break from a large quilt or hand piecing. This really is a very, very pretty book and really beautiful, beautiful designs. And it shows some different ways that you can do it, even putting little bits onto the bottom of a dress as well as on a cushion. It tells you all the materials and fabrics that you may need and equipment. And then you've got this wonderful stitch dictionary, which I thought was very, very clever, being able to teach you each and every different stitch and show you exactly what it is that she's using in the book. Explains couching and how best to do couching. It does a satin stitch as well, which I thought was very clever. Does all these different stitch variations, being able to create a butterfly stitch, a loose satin stitch, blackwork embroidery, which is very, very impressive. This is also showing you how to use waste canvas, which I thought was quite nice, being able to use up those little bits of waste that you've had available. And then you get onto the actual projects on what you're making. This one I thought was absolutely beautiful, doing this ombre from a light lilac into a deep umber, purpley, plummy colour on the outside. I thought that was absolutely beautiful. You've also got on each project, you've got a DMC colour suggestion, and it tells you which stitches you're doing in the project as well, which I thought was very, very clever. And then it gives you suggestions as well. It doesn't just say, it gives you the pattern, but it also gives you suggestions on how to make variations to that design. Then you've got the kaleidoscope, which I thought was really sweet. Again, the wonderful DMC suggestions. Then we've got the stitch allotment, which is very clever. You've got all these different stitches, being able to do it as a small project. And the thing is as well, you're doing these in very small hoops, as very small projects. You can do them as big or as small as you like. And again, using these suggestions or not, you know, you might want to do these all in maybe a black and a dark grey and a light grey to a white. That could be really, really effective, and doing a different coloured canvas as well, or a linen. Then you got this rainbow dale, which I thought was very sweet. I love the fact you've got Smurfs in there as well, because it does look like a little Smurf village. This is beautiful, this beautiful, beautiful star bloom and the lotus mandala. I thought those were very, very clever. And they've got the blossom burst, the rosette garden. This shows you the couching method over here, the whipped chain stitch. It's beautifully, beautifully done. And then these hexy delights, of course, being a quilter, anything with hexagons, I'm well up for that. And then you've got the star maze, which I thought was very, very clever, and I didn't get all the way through last time. Oh, hang on. Just checking. I think you do get all the way through there eventually, but it's one of those ones that your eyes go cross-eyed when you're trying to do it, so it's really, really quite fun. Then you've got the hundreds and thousands, and it's just such a clever, clever design. You can look at something like that and you just think, oh, I really, really like that. And it's one of those ones, it's a very mindful process, just sitting and doing something really, really simple, but not simple, effective. And then this is a map in the middle of that, and then we've got the Rainbow Sea, Sunshine Valley, an imaginary atlas, which I thought was quite fun as well. That could be a Christmas bauble, couldn't it? Santa is coming. Or the topography was really clever as well, doing the top version, the top view of a mountain. I thought those were very, very clever, and then doing all the different stitches to create that 3D effect there was very clever. These are really pretty as well. I just think there's so many different designs that you can do in this. And also over here it shows you the different levels of where to start, and because something like that is incredibly complicated, and then being able to have these simple suggestions on where to start and how to evolve your project, I think is very, very clever. Then you've got all the templates. It tells you how best to transfer your designs onto your canvas, and then you've got all the wonderful templates over here to be able to do it. Just a really, really fun book, really, really pretty, lots of beautiful, beautiful projects there. It's called Thread Doodling and available for $9.99. Such a great price for such a lovely book. Really, really pretty. Yes? Wow, the stitch remover. A third of the stock has gone already, and it's only just come back in. I'm not surprised. It's a really, really fun project, and I have to say, I'm kind of looking forward to making errors so I can go and do that. I wish I'd actually stitched a few more seams so that I could keep going with it. I love this. So the best way of doing it I've got my little fabric here. So when you've got your fabric which has got the seam on incorrectly, you put this flat edge onto your fabric. You get the seam, you can see there's an old seam that I've torn out. You get this wonderful seam ripper in the middle, and you just keep going along, all the way along. And if you get this positioned perfectly, and you've got that tension just right, put something heavy on this side of the fabric, and you put the seam there, and you just keep going all the way along, you can actually do a whole long seam using this incredible seam ripper. It's absolutely very, very special. I'm not surprised it's been selling so well. And the great thing is as well, because I saw this and I worried, I thought, gosh, that's going to tear my fabric. But because you're putting this flat onto the table, you'll see that there's a little, I would say there's maybe a 2-3 millimeter gap between the actual fabric and where your seam is that you're cutting. So there's absolutely no risk of cutting your fabric at all. It's a really, really safe product there. Love that. I am excited about this. So earlier on today we did our foundation paper piecing. Now I do a lot of foundation paper piecing, and I had it here earlier, and of course I've moved it. Of course I have. So when I'm doing foundation paper piecing, what I would do is I'd have a piece of fabric, and I'd have a piece of paper, which I would be stitching on. So what I would be doing is where my piece of paper was, I would put my piece of paper that I would be stitching. I'd put that on my light box, and then I would turn my light box on. So if I do that, that's off, that's on its lowest light, that's the middle light, and that's the brightest light. So you can tell, maybe if I put my hand in front of it, you get a better guide as to the brightness of it. So you can see that is incredibly bright on that. And the great thing is it doesn't get hot at all. So what I would do is I'd put my piece of paper on there. I wonder, it will. So another way of doing this, oh, that might be too bright. There we go. So you can tell I've turned, if you're doing the transfers from, oh, if you wanted to get these transfers onto paper, you pop your light box on, you then put the piece of paper over it, and you can trace out the light box, the design. You can trace this out onto a piece of paper. Then you take that piece of paper and you pop it onto your canvas, and that way your book is still intact. There's no damage to your book at all, and you can then have as many of those pieces of paper as you need. For foundation paper piecing, you do exactly the same thing. You put the piece of paper on there, put your piece of fabric on so you can see if it's big enough to go around the piece that you want to sew. These light boxes are absolutely brilliant. I love mine. I've got this size, one a little bit bigger, and I have this size now, and I do find that this is such a great size, because the ones that are slightly bigger are just that little bit too big, and the ones that are smaller are just too small. This is just the most perfect size. It's 30 centimeters by 42 as the viewable light box area, and it's just such a great product. They're very thin as well, so you can see they are really thin. Very useful, and I highly recommend those. Now, by the same company as well, oh, yes, by the same company, we've got the LED hobby lamp. Now, I absolutely adore this little hobby lamp because I think a lot of us do, or a lot of people, as you get older, you've got problems with switches and turning things on. What I love about this is a push-down button to make it work. So you can just use the edge of a pen and you can turn the light on like that, which is really great. And then when you finish with the pen, you can leave it there. So you know that you will always be able to turn it on with its little pen just there. It's very light. You can see there's lots of brightness on it, and it's a good warm light as well. Oh, it's a cool light, sorry, not a warm light. And when you can see it's LED, so I can keep my hand there all day and it will not get hot at all. It's fabulous. The curve on it is great as well, so you can go up quite tall on it if you wanted it completely up, or as if you can move it up and down as you go, you can rotate it. It's a really useful lamp, and it is so bright as well. You can tell if you're going to be doing any form of stitching, you can tell the light that I've got on my hand, just how good that's going to be for any project that you're going to be needing to do. You've got a wonderful little tray here to store all of your things you need to. You know, I've always got my wonder clips at hand for good old Sylvia. Get her a nice little thing of it, pop all though. And we've got the pen that you can store in there as well. A really fabulous light there. £16.99, and such a great deal by the same company who does that wonderful light box. Now, one of my favourite things to do at Sewing Street is every week I have the great privilege of being able to announce who our Makes of the Week are. If you don't know what our Make of the Week is, each week myself, Debbie and Vicky go through the Facebook fans page and pick our Makes of the Week, and they're very difficult, and it's becoming more and more difficult because honestly the work that the community make is so incredible. I had 9 different things that I took photographs of and tried to pick my favourite out of those 9, and then I whittled it down to 3, and then I've picked my winner and then went back on the page and saw something that I preferred. You are so talented out there, so we wanted to pay homage to that every week, and each week we announce the winners of who we've picked as our Make of the Week, and each one of you will win free postage and packaging on your next order through Sewing Street. If you have one, you'll need to get in touch with us either at studio@sewingstreet.com or on our Facebook page, Sewing Street TV. You'll see there's a little message button. Drop us a message and you get your postcode, your postage voucher code. So our winners for this week are Mary Woolley, Ben Dumont, forgive me if I got that wrong, and Annie Redford. And these are what you've made. So Mary, was your beautiful dress. Well done, that looks lovely. And then the next one is Ben Dumont. Look how beautiful that is, such a beautiful quilt. And then lastly was Annie Radford. Absolutely beautiful. Well done, all of you, our very, very worthy winners. But I promise you, you do make it very, very hard for all of us. Your makes are incredible. Please keep sharing them. So after the break, we've got the lovely Fiona back with her tunic. It's the Hilda tunic, isn't it? Hilda tunic. Which is just behind us on our mannequin over here. Really looking forward to that. Such a great demo we had at 9 o'clock. So she's back with us in a few minutes. We're just going to redo the set and we'll see you soon.
Hello, my name is Sally Stevens. I'm from Worcestershire, a little town called Upton-upon-Severn, which is a lovely little riverside town. And not far from there, I also have a little sewing studio, so I can work and leave all my mess left out when I'm preparing projects and quilts and so on. My speciality is, in fact, quilting, patchwork and quilting, and I probably started that when I was about 14 years ago. So as I often joke, that was only 7 years ago. In fact, it was rather a lot longer. But I've always enjoyed crafting, and patchwork really hooked me, and I love it. So now then, what can I tell you? Something you may not realise about me is that although lots of you have seen me many, many times on Sewing TV and at classes, because I teach as well, I also do a lot of unpicking. So don't be afraid ever. If you have to unpick things, so do we. It's not a problem. We all have to start somewhere. And sometimes you get a bit cocky and think, oh, I can just do that without pinning or without this. And then you think, should have paid attention to my own words. So some sewing tips for you. That's one, keep a seam ripper handy. That will always be your friend. And another one that I think is very important, whether you're a beginner or more experienced, when you're sewing something, particularly for the first time, a new technique, slow down. There's no rush, it's not a race. Have a little practice with spare fabrics if you've got them before you use your best fabric that you've just purchased so that you get your techniques just right. But also slow down, take your time, watch what you're doing, think about what you're doing, and read the instructions. That's always very useful. So what can I say? I've been asked to say what my claim to fame might be, and I would have to say, in all honesty, being on Sewing Street.
If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page.
Hi, I'm Rosie Wells. My name's Poppy and I'm a nutritional therapist.
Hi, I'm Ruth Lynette and I can't wait to join you all on the brand new Gemporia Lifestyle channel.
If you're a fan of primal living, you're going to adore what's around the corner.
What is lifestyle? Lifestyle is healthy habits.
Feeling good, it's about looking great.
Making sure that we're taking good care of ourselves inside.
And it's about the life that you lead and the home that you live in.
All of this is why I'm so excited. We've got the most wonderful team.
Homeware deals and primal deals under one roof on one channel.
I can't wait to share this brand new channel with you. So we'll see you soon on Gemporia Lifestyle.
Gemporia Lifestyle, coming soon to Freeview Channel 74 and gemporia.com.
Hello, my name's Fiona Hesford and I'm founder of Sewgirl. I'm based down in Worthing on the south coast of England, and I've got a range of sewing patterns which I've developed over the last few years, which are projects for loose fitting clothing, everyday simple garments, things that I really love to wear myself, and I'm going to be bringing you them to Sewing Street over the next few months. So I look forward to seeing you then. Bye!
If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page.
Hello, my name's Fiona Hesford and I'm founder of Sewgirl. I'm based down in Worthing on the south coast of England, And I've got a range of sewing patterns which I've developed over the last few years, which are projects for loose fitting clothing, everyday simple garments, things that I really love to wear myself. And I'm going to be bringing you them to Sewing Street over the next few months. So I look forward to seeing you then. Bye.
Shopping with us couldn't be easier. If you want to shop online, then you can head to our website, www.sewingstreet.com. It will redirect you to our sister channel Jewellery Makers landing page. Don't worry, you haven't gone to the wrong place. We're simply using their website temporarily while we're building our own web shop. Scroll down past the Watch Live part and you'll see all of the products that you will have seen on air on today's live show. You can also shop our catalogue by clicking a category, clicking a product to view closer and adding it to your basket. Once you're ready to check out, you will need to create an account, which is absolutely free to do so, but it will mean that you can check out on as many orders as you want throughout the day with still only paying one postage and packaging. If you'd prefer to speak to somebody in our UK-based customer service team, then you can do so via the free telephone line number 0800 001 4433. They will not only help you create an account, but will also help you with any of your online shopping.
Hello, welcome back. I'm John Cole Morgan and I'm so excited. We've got a second hour with the fabulous Sewgirl. So the first thing that we've got today is we've got bag kits. I am so excited about these. So this is one of the bags. Unfortunately, the little, what are we calling this? Decoration on the back. That's not included. But just look how beautiful these are. So you've got two different kits here. We've got the BoHo flowers and we've got the BoHo zigzag. So let me show you each of these so you can see what you're getting on each of these. Isn't this a fabulous little bag? Really, really love. I love a little bag like this, and I always put my little, I love being able to put my little bits of projects that I'm working on in bags like this. So the one I've opened now is called BoHo Flowers. So let me show you what you're getting in the BoHo Flowers bag. You're getting this wonderful set of instructions here for the BoHo bag. We're going to go through in more detail in a few minutes. I'm just wanting to show you what you're getting. Great little pattern there with incredible attention to detail. And you've got some wonderful little bits of information here as well, also there, which is, again, great reference to detail as well. Fabulous. You've got your wonderful hardware there. And it's just such a great thing because you've got all the links to Fiona's blog. It's just that wonderful attention to detail and that wonderful care for the design and for the pattern that is just so, so obvious. And the great thing is the bag, the size. It's such a good size to be able to use because it's not too big, it's not too small, it just feels just right. And then this is the wonderful fabric, which is the main outside of the fabric here, which is just so pretty. I love that. Really, really sweet. So this is the difference between the two, is the outer fabric. The rest you're getting exactly the same. So that'll be your lining, and then this is for your various details and for your corners and straps. This is your strap here, and you've got your zip, as well as this wonderful hardware to go with it. So there's a lot in this bundle that you're getting, over and above the wonderful information there and the incredible detail to the pattern as well. Loads of pictures on how to make it. And then that is the BoHo flower kit that we've got available there. We'll talk about more of them in a few minutes and for more detail. But I do love the little bag because it's one of those things. I've got a little hook on one of those coat racks in my studio, and I hang the bags as per project as I go on the little coat rack. Then the second colorway we have here is the BoHo zigzag. So we just called it BoHo, that's just what we do. But this is the difference between those outer fabrics. That one is just a beautiful, beautiful zigzag. And with this as well, you're still getting your wonderful lining fabric with it. You're getting this as well. Where have I put it? There it is. I knew there was a second section there. That's the gorgeous quality of it. And then you get your wonderful webbing for the actual outer of the bag. You're getting your zip. And again, you're getting those wonderful little information bits in there, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, as well as the hardware that goes with it. And then this wonderful pattern as well. This one we've called the BoHo zigzag pattern. Oh, sorry, we called this boho bag. Right, okay, sorry. I got that wrong. This is the boho bag with the zigzag fabric on the inside there. So that is available today for £29.99. Really lovely fabric here. And so we're going to talk to Fiona in a few minutes about this wonderful bag, and it is really, really lovely. Look at that. It's just so gorgeous, and this wonderful fabric that's been chosen. It's so beautiful. Really great size. Lovely, lovely bag. Oh, we've got a pocket on the inside as well. Love that. So if the bag isn't enough, we've also got this fabulous tunic that's available, which is hanging behind us here. Really beautiful, beautiful tunic here. Lots of these have already sold. We've got two different pattern sizes. One is an 8-inch 8 to 18, and the next one is 20 to 28. So we've got two different designs here, two different sizes. So we're going to do the 8 and 18. So if you click on this on the web, you'll be able to then turn around, and the second picture on your graphic will be able to show you exactly what sizes it is you need. So you'll be able to then work out how much fabric you need. And then for the very, very first time, we've also got the Hilda 20 to size 28, which is fabulous. Again, if you look this up on the website, you'll be able to then see the second picture of what fabric you need and how much you'll need of each fabric. That's available as your second picture on the website as well. And we're so pleased to be able to bring that through to you today as well. Now, we've also got some wonderful fabric bundles to go with it. I'm going to start with this. Is this just not the most adorable fabric? Look at that. Love that. So this one's got 2.5 meters of fabric. Really, really pretty little dark rose there. So this is... It's a nice feel to it. It's got that wonderful silkiness to it. It's great. It's, I'm sorry, I don't speak French, so I'm going to go with jolies fleurs. I probably got that completely wrong. Apologies for destroying the French language in 2 words. This is a beautiful, beautiful viscose fabric here by Sewgirl Hilda tunic fabric. 2.5 meters there, and that is £39.49. Is that the fabric you need for both sizes? I'm going to have a quick look on the back of the pattern. We're going to ask Fiona. I'm going to put her on the spot with that. Don't know, couldn't read it there because obviously it depends on the width of the fabric there. That's the first of our bundle there. Then we've got this wonderful section. Oh, this is beautiful. Look at that. That is such a divine colourway. And, excuse me while I just look at that with this, I'm going to rotate this bag ever so slightly just to show you how perfectly that bag goes with this fabric. Well done, that was gorgeous, that combination there. This is the Gentle Beauty Viscose Sewgirl Hilda tunic fabric, 2.5 meters there for £39.49. This feels really, really lovely as well. Gorgeous design, really pretty that, love that. And that's available for £39.49. We got our wonderful linen back as well today for this one. This is our blue, is this blue or is it teal? Teal. So this is the teal linen. Again, it's got that gorgeous feel of the fabric we had earlier, which was the blue and the pink for the previous show. But look how beautiful that fabric is. Really great. This is 2.5 meters there for £29.49. So these bundles that we've just given you will make enough for a size 18. But all of these fabrics are available by the half metre, so do check those out on the website as well. You'll be able to do that. And remember, on each of these on the website, the second image on the website will show you exactly how much fabric you need for each of them as well. So now we're going to just show you a very quick video on how you buy with us while I get the lovely Fiona back on set and we get everything sorted. Back in a minute.
Shopping with us couldn't be easier. If you want to shop online, then you can head to our website, www.sewingstreet.com. It will redirect you to our sister channel Jewellery Makers landing page. Don't worry, you haven't gone to the wrong place. We're simply using their website temporarily while we're building our own web shop. Scroll down past the Watch Live part and you'll see all of the products that you will have seen on air on today's live show. You can also shop our catalogue by clicking a category, clicking a product to view closer and adding it to your basket. Once you're ready to check out, you will need to create an account, which is absolutely free to do so, but it will mean that you can check out on as many orders as you want throughout the day with still only paying one postage and packaging. If you'd prefer to speak to somebody in our UK-based customer service team, then you can do so via the free telephone line number 0800 001 4433. They will not only help you create an account, but will also help you with any of your online shopping.
Welcome back. It's so lovely to have you again.
Hello. I'm back.
So we're back with Fiona. And for those of us who...
Hello.
Sorry? Right. We don't usually do this. We already have a stock warning. Yes. Okay, so anybody who's interested in the Hilda tunic size 8 to 18, there are 5 left. So if it's in your basket, please add that into your basket and check out now, because we don't want you to be missing out. We are going to start by talking about the bags, but check out if you've got it in your basket, because if you haven't paid for it, it's not yours just yet. So do check out on that. So let's talk about those wonderful bags.
So, yes, well, this is the BoHo bag kit, and can I handle my bag?
Of course.
Yeah. So, now, I call this a nose bag, actually, because it is a little bit it's a really simple shape, isn't it? But it's all about the fabric, and this fabric is really special. I can tell you I had such trouble getting this fabric because it is made by the Hmong Hill tribe in Vietnam. It's on the South China-Vietnam border. And I don't know if you know about Hmong people, but they are notorious for their handicrafts, and they are just fantastic in the way that they produce these handmade fabrics. And a lot of them are indigo dyed, and because the reason that a lot of the indigo is because they grow the indigo plants on the side of the rice fields. Oh, wow. When they're not harvesting their crops of rice, they have something else to work with the indigo dyeing, so they do a lot of dyeing. Wonderful. And they do a lot of weaving, and so these are not only hand woven, they're also hand batiqued. Yes. So, and they have the most incredible skills. I mean, I have got hand batiqued, these are block printed, but they have hand drawn. You can't believe the skill that's involved. It's amazing. And what I want to do with these is to keep these alive, you know, keep these fabrics going, because, you know, if we don't use these, those skills are going to die out. Of course. And they hand block print these in wax, beeswax, and then they hand dye them in indigo, and they are just the most amazing fabrics.
But they've got a beautiful feel to them. I was noticing
they're really nice and sturdy, really, and that's what. And they weave them in these strips, and that's when I saw them, and I just thought, because I just bought them because I was sort of like interested in them, you know, and I loved the look of them. And when I got them, I thought, do you know, these make really nice bags, because they're only woven in strips, and some of the, well, when you buy them, you'll get the woven edge, you'll get the selvage edge, and you can see the width of the fabric. But I just thought it's really nice having the two different designs. So if I'm going to sort of, I'm sorry I didn't have time to make up another bag, but you can see how nice that looks. That will look lovely in the beautiful. Other. Now there are actually 2 styles of flower print. There is one that's got just a slightly different flower in there. So if you get one and it's just not exactly the same as this, it's just like a little.
I can see. We've got like the second one here.
No, that's the other one. It's like a sort of sunflower, but it's just as lovely. So if you get that, it's slightly different, but you know, you're still getting the handmade quality of the print. And the really interesting thing about these handmade fabrics is that a lot of the motifs, and don't ask me what means what, but because they didn't have, for centuries, they didn't have any written language. And so they used to hand batik stories into the fabric, and all these symbols mean something. So they tell stories about their village in the fabrics, and I just think it's absolutely fascinating.
Glorious.
So these are really unique fabrics. They're handmade, and they are things that you see. And when you have something like this, you love it. You just love it. And I've got one. And what I love about this, sorry, I'm just so excited about this. But what I love about this bag is that, I mean, I'm often shoving a bag on, slinging my purse in, my card, my glasses, and I want to go. And this just is enough to fit, you know, if you've got a really big bag, you end up sort of like, you know, kind of going around like this, don't you? Because it's, you put everything. But this is just enough to throw your purse and your bits and bobs, keys, and you can sling it over your shoulder. It's got a really lovely, long adjustable strap. And you can sort of make it shorter or longer, whatever you like. And it sits and hugs your hip. That's what I like to say. It's sort of hip hugging, but it's like a nose bag. Now I had these. I don't want to dwell too much on it because you have. But if you've got some really lovely ethnic beads, I've had these since the 1980s, and I just thought actually because it's got a little zip pull on it. Wouldn't it be nice? Oh, look, it's got all caught up there. Wouldn't it be nice to just put a little, you know, added thing on? And that's just a bit of fun. And I just think you can make it your own then, can't you? And as John said, it's got the pocket inside. And now this one I've made with because the bag kit comes with everything, but it doesn't come with the wadding. Mm-hmm. So it's up to you what you want to use for that. Now, if you've got a bit of H640, I don't know whether we're upselling. We have it. We've got some. We're upselling the H640, so you might want to talk about that. But I just bought a few samples of the things that you might like to use as the wadding. Because, you know, if you want to go down the eco-friendly route, you could use something like a bamboo fleece. But here the H640, which is, you know, probably everybody's got a bit of that in their drawer, or if not, get some because it's really useful for bag making. And I love having some in stock.
Well, we can't even keep it in stock. Every time we get it in, it keeps selling out. It's brilliant.
And you
it's
can
a really
iron
great
it
product.
on, so it's so easy to use. Sorry, I'm looking at the screen.
You're all good. You're all good.
Or this is the bag foam. So, you know, if you want a much sturdier bag, this one is with the H640 and you can see it makes it nice and sturdy, but it's still soft. But if you want something a little bit firmer, you could go for the bag foam, which has got that sort of... Now, if you are going to use the bag foam, you might need to just trim off about a quarter of an inch all the way around, just enough so that you haven't got a bulky seam just before you iron it on. So, or you can spray glue it on, that sort of thing. But a lot of people will have a bit of that in their stash, maybe. So that's all about that.
Can I just say, the one thing I do love about it is, even I'm just reading the little bit of information you've put on here about the Hmong tribe. The passion that you have for these and the integrity of your design and your brand is really, really powerful because you can actually feel that from when you're talking. It's very, very special. And the thing is as well, a lot of people won't understand, not that they won't understand, it's, I am more in love with this fabric now hearing the story about it because it is something so special.
Yes,
and
you
the fact
think about it as well. Every time you wear it, you think about the people that have made it, and that's what's so lovely. It's about the connection that you have with your things.
Because I think
they're not throwaway, these things. They're timeless classics. You know.
Because I find one thing I love about quilting is being able to know if it's a specific range. Because I do have 2 or 3 designers that I follow, and I go through the range and read the stories and hear the stories of how they came up with it.
Yes.
The connection I have with the fabric is so different to when I'm just picking up some solids and making something willy-nilly. Because you actually take the time to understand what you're doing. And I love the fact that you've done that and that you share that with people and something
to know a bit of the backstory about
useful,
it.
but so lovely and a really great quality. I think it's fabulous that you're able to bring this to us. So thank you.
I think it's just so lovely as well the way that we teamed it up with the fabric that we are using because, brilliant. Like you say, they work so well together.
They really do. I have to say.
Also the teal as well because the background is not white. It's like a slightly teal colour.
It is.
And the background, the teal linen, just looks. I mean, was that intended? Because I think that's the kind of...
I tell you, I don't know who does all of that
That's
matching.
really well done,
but they are
whoever
they have
thought
such a
about
great
that.
eye, because often I'm picking up kits and thinking, I wouldn't have dreamed of putting it on, but whoever does it, they are fantastic.
Yes.
They really, really are.
Just another thing to point out about the bag as well is that you can do it in a slightly smaller size. There are 2 sizes of bag in the pattern. Where's the pattern?
Here.
So if you wanted to, you could, the one I've got, which I wear every day, is just slightly narrower and slightly smaller, and it just is a little bit more of like a purse on a kind of on a strap. So you know, there's that, and also. Most of these have got the webbing handles, but some I haven't got there. So I've got strips of denim. So just be aware that you might have one or the other, but the denim is just as nice. So they're not. Then you know, most of them have got the webbing, but some of them have got the denim straps in them.
Brilliant.
And it just means that you can have either, and then the pattern is just really useful to use afterwards if you wanted to make other types of kits, bags in other fabrics. So you know,
well, it's
that's
such a
really
pretty bag, and I think as well, because it's such a nice, easy pattern to do.
Yeah.
You'll be able to then make that up in different colourways and different ways of doing it. I think
That's right.
fabulous.
Yes. Yes, that's it. I mean, it's versatile, isn't it? You can do it in all sorts of quilting cottons, because I mean, if you're interfacing a quilting cotton, it's automatically becomes like a bag fabric, doesn't it? You know.
So the pattern you've got on that design there, we've called the BoHo bag kit. So and then the other fabric we've got available today is the one with the circles with the flowers.
That's it.
So the name's slightly different with this one. It's called the BoHo Bag Kit Flower Design. So the one I'm holding in my hand now is the flower design one. So they're 2 different ones. Sorry? But as Fiona's mentioned before, obviously there are 2 different designs of the flowers. So one will look like the one we've got here,
star-like,
with the other one slightly more
like a sunflower. Yes. It's just lovely, just the same. it's just the band of flowers is a slightly different design, because I mean, getting these fabrics was they're quite scarce now, so it was like kind of I had to have sort of, I basically could get what I could get hold of.
Of course.
Anyway.
Brilliant.
But,
so that's such a great bag. Thank you for that. Now we've got the Hilda tunic as well, which has been selling so well.
That's right. So the Hilda tunic is a classic, isn't it?
How many are left on that one? Right. There is one of the Hilda tunic size 8 to 18 left. And then on the 20 to 28 we... Oh my goodness. So there's only one of the size 8 to 18. So if that is in your basket, I am hearing it is in someone's basket. If you do want that now, please make sure you check out, because if somebody else comes along and gets that out of your, they can take it out of your basket and pay for it ahead of you. That's theirs. The size 20 to 18, we've got 9 of these left. So these are selling so well today, and you can see why. It's such a great design. So over to you. What have we got here?
So Hilda's actually my very first pattern. So I'm very attached to this one because it's a classic, and it's the sort of pattern that sort of dress that it's a tunic really, but you can make it in linens, you can make it in viscose. Something with a bit of drape is always lovely with it, because it just will hang nicely, and it's got a very nice wide neck, so it's very, very lovely for summer. It has, I don't know if you can see it here, but it's got a pleat in it. So what it does is that's what gives you the
voluminous. Volume.
The volume.
That one.
That'll do. So it's a very, very comfortable wear. Now I am actually wearing a Hilda with a hack sleeve. So you've got if you have the Hilda pattern, you could add, by my little blog post, you can cut yourself a rectangle of fabric and add a frill, and it becomes something like this. So, you know, it's, again, this is another thing that I like doing, is playing around with my patterns and trying things out, and then photographing them, and then offering up all the information about how people can do it. But the actual Hilda pattern is a short sleeve. So here I've got one here. So this is how the basic pattern comes. And again, it's got no session sleeve. It's really, really simple sleeve construction, and we mustn't forget as well these great side pockets. Who doesn't love a side pocket?
It's got to be done.
So you can slouch around with your hands in your pockets, and it's fantastic. So yes, and you can eat what you like in it as well, which is my kind of pattern, really.
Is that not going to be in your way then? Do you want to pop it over there?
That's all right there.
You happy there?
Yeah, I'll trip over it, don't worry. So yes, so here you have, now this pattern is really nice because it's kind of like a really big size, and because I really wanted to aim at the beginners with this one. And you can see that everything is sort of really, really big, and it's a very, very simple construction. So what you have is when you're starting, now apologies, it's all a bit creased up because I didn't really get a chance to iron it before the programme. So I'm just going to show you the little pleat section at the front. Now I think I bought a little bit, yes, here we go. So what I'll do is I'll show you the pleat section on a little sample because I think it will just be a little bit easier to see. So now this is where you're doing the, so after you've cut out the pieces, the first thing you do is to put this pleat in here. So if I hold it up, you can see that it's at the very centre front here of the neckline. I've got to watch out something. So when you cut the pattern out, you have got the pleat markings on the pattern. So you can see a little notch, and you transfer the little notch to the pattern. And then what I tend to do is to put a pin in the middle, which is the crease line, that's the centre line. So if I just show you, I've got the pattern cut out somewhere. Again, you know, this is sturdy paper, so you can iron the pattern before you place it on. Pop your pattern weights on, and then it will keep it nice and secure. No, that's the back, so it's not that one. Here we go. So here's your, if I turn it around, you'll probably see it a bit better. So here's your pleat. So you're just literally notching it there. And you can see here, this arrow is where all that fabric's going to get folded back into the dress. So once you've nicked that, you put a pin at the centre fold, and you put a pin, you're going to have a notch either side because the front is cut on the fold. And then it's just a case of folding the pleat over so that the pin matches the pin. So over it goes, and then you can just take the pin out and pop it back in again. Can we see that clearly?
Yes, that's perfect.
And then, see, if I get my ironing board out, I can just sort of iron it, and it'll just be a little bit clearer to see. Do you think that's a good idea?
Perfect.
Let's just give that a little press.
Just check it's plugged in.
See if I can burn a hole in my fabric now. That would be...
Is it plugged in? Oh,
yes.
It is.
There we go. I think without the creases, it will show you the pleat a bit better. So this is the first time I've aired the larger size pattern as well on air. So, you know, that's I'm really happy to sort of bring that to people because it's been a long time coming. So you've folded in one side, and then again, in it goes, and it meets the pin, meets the centre pin there. So you're going in one side and in the other to meet the centre one there. And then the centre pin you don't need anymore. So the back of it, I think we've got a little friend joined us today. We've got Freddie Fly.
Bye, Freddie.
Yeah.
Go away. Sorry,
So,
I'm going to just do this.
So, and on the back it looks like a box pleat. I don't know, can you see that?
Yes.
Oh, let's just turn it round. There we go. So on the back it looks like a box pleat, and the front it's like an inverted pleat there. And then to secure it...
If you rotate that, we could help. you go.
So to secure that then, what I would do is stay stitch it. So that's going to hold those pleats in place.
What's a stay stitch?
So a stay stitch is a line of straight stitch, normal stitch length, within the seam allowance.
Right.
And basically,
so it's a bit like what you did with the gather, but
so
just
what
with a
I did with the
stitch.
gather, because if I just move this into a shot here, you can see that there's my pleats there. I've stayed stitched all the way around the neckline, the front and the back, because again, it's on the curve, that neckline, and you just want that to be sort of stable. And it will hold those pleats in at the same time. So that when you've got the stay stitch, it's a bit like a tacking stitch in a way for the pleats, isn't it? But you stay stitching around the outer neck at the same time. So it just saves you a bit, 2 jobs in one. So if I can get my pin box open, that's it. So there's your front. Now I've just sort of, I wanted to kind of see if I could get one made so that you could see it made up, because I thought that would be nice. So what you can see here is...
Which size did you say it sold out? Both. Both of your patterns have sold out. So the Hilda tunic has sewn out.
Oh, that makes me happy.
That is really good news to hear.
I think people would get a lot of use out of this pattern, because it is just it's just very easy to make, very quick. Doesn't take a load of fabric, and it's just a very easy thing to wear. Just a very nice, relaxed style. Now, can you see there? I've put. This is a bit like me at home. I sometimes just work on the ironing board. I'm sure a lot of people do that, don't they?
Oh, I know I do.
Do you do that? Yeah, just work on the ironing.
Before we go any further, we just want to remind everybody about the teal linen bundle. Sorry for the delay there. Right. So are these gone? Right, so at the moment we have only got the teal bundle left. These are not available at the moment. We have placed calls. We're trying to get as much in as possible, so we've placed calls to see when the next delivery is going to be able to come in, trying to rush that in. So at the moment we have only got this gorgeous teal linen fabric for 2.5 metres for £29.49. So that is enough to make a size 18, but we do sell it by the ½ metre if you are looking to use the 20 to the 28. The sizing that you need, do you know what the width on this one is, Hannah? 150, what's that in? So if you're going up to a 28, the fabric you require using this would be 2.4 metres. So you actually do have enough to be able to do that, if I'm not mistaken. 140 centimetres, it's 55 inches, isn't it? Yep, so 2.4 metres you would need for the 55-inch wide. So this is enough to make up to size 28. So you'll be able to do that easily. So just want to let you know about that we are trying to get some more of these in stock. Sorry it's gone out, but so popular, and you can see why. Sorry to interrupt your dinner.
No, that's fine. That teal colour
it's beautiful,
is
isn't it?
just
But the
lovely.
feel, like we had the linen in the previous hour, the pink and the blue.
I'm not allowed to touch it, am I, really? No, but it does look lovely.
Soon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sometime now.
It just got just a really lovely texture about it, hasn't it?
It really
looks
does.
slightly sort of like slightly aged in a nice way, like a sort of vintage style, vintage kind of fabric.
It's sort of a relaxed feel to it, doesn't it?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it is
And you
really
want something with a bit of
handle.
fluidity with this, and that's really would fit the bill. So anyway, I'm going to come to the pockets now. So you can see that you get 4 pocket pieces, and all you do is you just sort of pin. Let me pliers back. So you just pin the pocket with the right side facing the together, and then you've got a marker on your pattern about where to place your pocket. So you just transfer that to the pattern piece, and then you just place your pocket on the left, right of each of front and back. So when you and then what you do is you fold it back and press it like so, And I'll give that a little
What
press on
heat
it.
iron do you use for that?
Well, be careful with this viscose because you probably need to be on a more of a silk setting, I would say. The other thing is, again, viscose has got a lot of movement to it. It needs a light touch, you know. I mean, if you're, you know, just need to handle it
softly and gently.
Yes, gently. And again, put a duvet cover or a old sheet, or if you've got a big length of fabric, you know, just lay it on the table and lay your fabric on. And again, you see how I'm just sort of ironing it like that. You know, you could just definitely do that with a length of fabric. It just makes it a lot easier. So you fold your pockets away like that. And you do the same on the left and the right side of the front and the back. And then what you're going to do is join I wish I'd given this a press before I came on the show. I was too busy yakking with my husband.
You must see some of the demos that I've had to bring in, and halfway through you're thinking, I didn't press my bits, I haven't got it all ready. And you take it out and you're mortified. But it is what it is. Everybody understands.
There you go.
We've got such a kind community. They really are very supportive. They won't mind at all.
Oh, right. So I could have brought my ironing in, couldn't I? Could have sort of done
I think that may have been a step too far.
Yes. Or be like my mum who irons towels.
Oh, that's lovely.
Which is actually quite nice. And pillow slips and things like that. It just really makes a big difference, doesn't it? So now I'm going to show you here. Can you see how I've just laid the front on top of the back? And so the pleats all done. Let me just see if you can, there we go. And I've stitched the shoulder seams. So there we go, we stitched the shoulder seams and then I've finished the raw edge. Now again, if you haven't got an overlocker, just do a little zigzag stitch. You know, when you've got 2 layers of fabric, of this fine fabric together, it's sort of much better than one. So if you zigzag one layer of fabric, it tends to sort of chomp it up a bit. So, you know, save it for when you've got 2 layers and then, and there it's gone. My dress is on the floor now, so let's just shove that over there. Oh, it's all going chaotic, isn't it? So now, the other thing you could do if you wanted to, so let's just show you the right side, is you could not bother with the sleeves. You could just have it like a little tabardie type thing, you know, which is quite nice. But let's put the sleeves on. So that's what you do at this stage. And you can see all you do is you pin the sleeve on one side like that, pin it on the other, match up the centre point to the centre point of to the shoulder seam, and then you just literally stitch it along. So yeah, I'm grappling with it here. Let's turn this bit round like that, and then I can show you.
I'm sorry, I can't even offer to help.
Right, I think because the thing is, it's all sort of hanging off the table, so it's pulling it down.
If you need to move forward, that'll work.
There you are. Let's turn this around like that.
Oh, got a pin there.
Yeah. Here we are. I could even just pin it like that, couldn't I? There
That's the great thing with these June Taylor presses.
Yeah.
They're fabulous for things like that.
Yes, it's great. So there's your side, there's your edge of your sleeve. And if I get my sleeve piece here, nice and crumpled. I mean, it really is quite easy to iron this fabric. And I mean, I literally have had it scrunched up in a bag, but it doesn't crease too badly. It's not like, you know, some other fabrics. And then you just literally pin that on like so, there, da-li-da, and then pin it on that side. And then pin it at the middle. So it's always a good idea to pin the outer extreme ends together first, because then you can just pin the middle. You should have a pleat. Have I got the right bit there? I should have a shoulder seam. Oh yeah, there it is. There we go, so we pin the shoulder seam. So you're matching up the centre point to the shoulder seam there. And then you literally just ease the sleeve in like so. And then we're just going to sew it along.
It looks great.
And then you sew it. I think what I might do is just sort of show you how to pin it and then show you the other side, and then we can move on to the facing.
One of your pins has gone in the middle of the discs there. You'll never get that right again.
There we go. Long nails. That's what helps. And so once that's actually sewn on, this is a bit like Blue Peter. Here's one I made earlier. If I could keep it on the board. And there you can see that the sleeve is stitched on. You fold it back, give it a nice press.
We have 13 minutes left if you want to give it a go.
So, well, I think what I'll do is show you the facing.
Whichever works.
So
where is that?
So here's you've got your neck edge there, which is at the moment raw. And here you have your neck facing. Now, you've got a front neck facing and a back neck facing. So if I give that a little press, that will sort of, there we are. And I have interfaced it with interfacing on the reverse side. Now,
so how would you interface that?
This is a fusible, lightweight interfacing. Now, if you're using this viscose, you probably don't need a medium weight. You probably need more of a lightweight, or even sometimes the ultra soft weight is nice.
Okay.
But you can iron it on to the fabric and it will just give that neckline a little bit more stability.
Okay.
Now, there are some people that don't use interfacing for things like linen because it's already quite stable.
Heavy. Yeah.
Yes. But I think if you've got some lightweight, if you feel like you need a bit more, you can always use 2 layers of it. You know, so the lightweight, I think, in a lot of ways is a lot more versatile thing to have in stash than a medium weight. But anyway, so you want to put a light interface on the back, and then you join the front to the back at the side seams, like so. So you're sewing the short edges, and then I've overlocked. I don't know if you can see that there, but it's been overlocked all the way round.
I think it's easier to see on the interface side.
Yes, so I've overlocked it all the way around the outer edge. Now you don't need to do the inner edge here because that's all going to be sandwiched underneath. So you just need to overlock the outer edge. Now if you don't have an overlocker, what you might want to do is to just turn under the most minimum of hem and just press it and stitch it down. And that gives some, you know, sometimes you might think that zigzag stitch just doesn't look that neat. So what I tend to do, if I don't have my overlocker, I'll just turn under a little 1/2 centimetre, 1/4 inch hem, and I'll stitch that down with a straight stitch all the way down. And then once it's on the right side like that, it just looks a lot neater. So that's, you know, something you could do. Now, so once you've got your made facing ring like that, what we're going to do is we're going to put it into the neck. So we want to match the front with the front and the back with the back, so don't get them mixed up. So I've done that in the past. And then we pin the side seams together. So we've got the shoulder seam and the side seam of the facing. So match that up. Might be a good idea if I get my glasses on, wouldn't it? Let's just pop my...
I'm a bit worried that you caught your microphone in them. That took great skill.
How did I do that?
Your actual glasses, there you go. So if you, there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go, you're free.
Okay, I'm free. Free at last. Right, there we go. So, so what was I doing? That's it. I was pinning the
interfacing to the
interfacing to the side seam, and I'm matching up the side seams like that. So you start off with that, and if you can just find the centre point of your front and back of your facing, and to do that you just fold it in half and give it a little pinch or a little iron, and you can get a crease. and then pin it in the middle, like so. And I always think it's a good idea to put your pins going, you know, when you've got something that's on a curve, it's a good idea to have your pins going perpendicular to your edge. Now I would probably hand tack the neck facing in, just so that you're pin free. I just think that's really well, you know, it takes a few minutes just to hand tack it in, and it just makes it so much easier to sew. So we're pinning that in, and then we pin the front facing. So if I just flip it over, and again get your centre point. I've got a little crease there, so you can match that up to the pleat. And then line up your raw edges.
Sorry, I had a moment there. I was trying to ask Joe a question, and as I asked the question, he went on to vision, so he could see me. So that was why they were like, "You know, we can see you." Sorry about that. That was why I was having a little giggle there.
There we go. So we're pinning that all the way round. And it sort of fits quite nicely, so you shouldn't have to do too much.
So if you've got it the wrong way
tagging
round,
in.
it won't fit nicely.
No, it won't fit. You'll see straight away that
Fine.
it's right. So you can see the front facing is much deeper. Sorry, I'll face it like that. So the front facing's much deeper than the back facing. It's very obvious to see. But, you know, that's a good thing to sort of point out, because if you feel like you need to know what's what, you can always get a piece of masking tape like I have here, and just sort of stick it on.
Because most of your pieces have had little pieces of masking tape on. I think that's genius.
I'm a big fan of masking tape. And you can write with a big, you know, Sharpie pen, front, back, sleeve, and then you pick it up, you know what it is
And
as
the
a
great
piece.
thing is that it's reusable for the next piece that you do.
Exactly. And if it comes off a bit, you can just pin it on, can't you?
Exactly.
So it's, you know, it's not too much. Right, so I think I'm going to, have I got time to sew that on?
You've got about 5 minutes left.
Oh, well, let's go for it, shall we?
So you've got your sewing bee moment where we'll set the clock.
Yes. And I hear there's someone from the Sewing Bee coming on the programme.
I know.
Is that a top secret?
Yes.
Sorry. Oh, was it? Oh dear.
We're just trying to change the subject. Lovely Fiskars scissors over here, everyone. Look at the Fiskars scissors.
You talk about my little notebooks and things. Have you already
Oh yes, of
done
course. So
that?
we've all got our wonderful
Yes.
competition that we've been running. So we've got a wonderful set of booklets. So there are 2 different prizes that we've got. So this is the first prize you're getting, which is a book for your ideas, and you're getting a set of cards. So that's the first one. All you have to do is to make sure that you've purchased one of the Sewgirl products that we've got on the show today. And then, sorry, Hannah? And there'll only be 2 winners, unfortunately. But that's what you're going to get. That's the first prize. You've got these 2 lovely, lovely notebooks there. Wonderful set of cards. That's the first prize. And then the second prize is that gorgeous flower and a kitty cat. And a lovely set of cards as well. Really, really wonderful prizes there. It runs away from you. Sorry, I should have warned you.
No, I'm just tripping over my shoes. That's just what you do.
See, I wear
you know.
slippers in the studio.
Do you?
Because
Yeah,
I just find them
guess.
more comfy, and you also then can get a better grip on the foot of the sewing machine.
Yeah, you have to wear the right shoes with sewing, don't you? It's something not too clunky.
I don't wear shoes at all when I sew.
Don't you?
I always have my...
Well, that's a bit daring.
It's very odd.
It's very sandy shore, isn't it?
I don't know. I've just never been able to do it. It's like driving a car. I prefer to do it with no shoes on.
Yeah, really?
Always.
Oh. Do you have to have socks with grips on them though? Do you not slip?
Oh no, I don't do it because it's illegal. But it's just I would prefer to. But yeah.
I'm just a bit worried I'm sewing what I shouldn't be underneath, so we'll see at the end whether I've sewn something. Yeah, I mean, if you, when you're sewing curves like this, it's always a good idea to, obviously I would have tacked mine in, but is to is to drop your needle down and just lift your foot up and just shift it around a little bit as you're going round in a circle, you know, because sometimes it's just, you just need that extra bit to kind of move it around. So by leaving your needle in the fabric, you're not going to lose your place.
You can see that very clearly as well. It's brilliant.
So here we go, come to the end now. So I'm just going to sew over those stitches where I started a bit, just to reinforce them. And then when I take it off the machine, that fly needs to go, I think. So we'll whisk these out. So I don't think I've sewn anything I shouldn't have underneath. No, I think I'm all right. So we take out our pins, and then we're going to get our scissors and we're going to nick the seam allowance, because obviously we've got some curved edges here. And what we want to do is to just give it a little bit of room.
Well, I think you've still got a pin in there.
Have I?
Yep, flip it towards you.
Oh, yeah. Well done. And then get my scissors and just very carefully, let's turn that on its side, sort of cut small little V's out. Now you only really need to do this on the curved sections, and I mean literally every 1.5 to 2 centimetres. Now you want to just be careful that you're not nicking your stitches, because that wouldn't be good, basically. And the other thing is to what we call layering, layer our seams. So we've got a bulky bit there where the side seam has joined the shoulder seam, and so if you just trim it down to half as much, so you've got half an inch, half a centimetre, or about 1/4 inch there, then that will just reduce the bulk. So, and then we can just carry on snipping all the way around. I have been in workshops where people don't know how to snip gently little bits. They kind of, and I'm like, oh no, go easy there. So you just want very little V's, and just be really careful not to cut that stitching that you've just done. So there we go. So all the way around, and then, and we're going to get a heat wave next week, so you should be able to run one of these up and wear it, because if you've got a nice viscose, something cool, this is the thing that I pop on when it's hot.
It is.
You know, because we're having all that wafty fabric just keeps you cool. You know, you don't want anything tight-fitting when it's hot, do you?
No.
So it's... no. So you just want something to keep you...
I'm very lucky. My studio is on the ground floor, but the way that the land goes, it feels as though it's underground.
Ooh,
so it's a constant temperature all through the year.
Good, yes.
It's fabulous. So it's almost like having air conditioning, but it's not.
What about light though, John?
The lights are fantastic. I've got really great lighting.
You've got just lighting, haven't you? You've got no natural light coming in.
Loads of natural light, because we've got massive windows on one side. It's an old listed building, so built in. It was an old workhouse, so it was the ground floor.
Lovely.
Absolutely stunning. So I think we've got another 2 minutes, minute
right,
and a half.
Well,
no pressure there.
Well, I'm sort of there, aren't I? So the last thing you do, you might want to have one of the, I love these. Do you like these?
I love them.
I love my tailor's ham, yes. The other thing, you might have to consider the needle that you use for this fabric, because it can snag sometimes. If you've got a needle, or change your needle first of all, but if you're getting a little bit of snagging occurring, just try a bit out on a bit of spare, a bit of scrap fabric. You might need to get a ballpoint needle, just because with viscose rayon has got very, very fine fibres, and so if you've got the slightest little nick in your needle, it will snag. So if you've got a ballpoint needle, it will cure that. So it's the same with neck curtains. If you've got neck curtains and you're sewing hems or something, then, or voiles, you know, it's the same sort of fabric, isn't it? So just kind of like, oh, I keep spraying. Giving John a little shower when I'm here. I'm not trying to tell him anything. See if I can get you.
No, please don't. It's very kind, though. Thank you for the offer.
John. I'm sure you want to cool down, don't you? There you go.
So with that air conditioner, it's impossible to be hot now in here.
And then you just you fold it over to the reverse side, and just want to make sure that that pleat or the facing, no, what I mean is the seam is in line with the fold. So you don't want to see any of the facing on the right side. You want to make it so that all that facing is on the back, and that seam, then the neck edge is nice and clean. And so it takes a little bit of time just to press that nicely all the way around, like so. And then through to the back. I mean, pressing is so important in sewing, isn't it?
It really is. I think more so certainly in dressmaking, because you can see if you get your seam wrong there and you're pressing wrong there, it's not going to lie properly and you need to pay attention to it. So it definitely is. Yeah, you did get me there, but that's all right. Fiona, I cannot thank you enough for coming in and showing this. This is so brilliant. And I see what you mean there, the pressing on the pleat there has been brilliant. I'm really hoping to see you again soon. It's been so lovely to have you.
Yeah, it's been great.
Everything's sold out. You'll have to bring us some more.
Really?
Looking forward to that. Well, all your patterns have sold out, so that's really great.
That's great. Well done.
So what have we got on tomorrow? I'm always excited about this. So we've got the Birders Children Pinafore dress with Janice Hobbs. We've got Debbie's Cow Creamer kitchen set and panels. That's brand new. Looking forward to that. Then we've got the Simplicity Mrs. 3/4 skirt with Janice as well. Then we've got an hour of fabulous fabrics. And then we've got a repeat of today's Creative Grids rulers. So I'm looking forward to that. That's from 8 o'clock tomorrow morning until 1 o'clock. So we look forward to that. It's been a really great day. Janice. It's because I'm reading Janice over there. Fiona, it has been an absolute joy. Thank you so much for coming through.
I look forward to seeing you again. Yeah, that's been lovely. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all so much for your time today. Really, really have enjoyed the last couple of hours with you. Stay tuned. What have we got to sort of repeat? Yesterday's, which one? Yesterday's first hour. Sorry, I can't remember what it was, and I did it. That's just mortifying. Sorry about that. Well, have an amazing weekend. Stay safe, everybody, and we'll catch up with you next week. Keep well. Bye-bye.